Chapter 542. However, the spearmen behind them immediately stepped in. The spears pierced into their bodies. Although the body of the body-tempering realm cultivators had been transformed, they were still very weak before these treasures. Poochie, Poochie sounds rang out continuously. Immediately, flesh and blood flew up and fell to the ground. When the body-tempering realm cultivators behind them saw their brothers die in the hands of others, how could they be willing? After roaring, they pounced forward. They released profound skills from their hands. Rays of light of various colors shot out. They exploded on the bodies of their opponents, causing the light to shine brightly. Like a storm, heavy attacks landed on the bodies of the ordinary soldiers. Those soldiers fell into a pool of blood one after another. The defensive, profound realm cultivators also joined in the battle. The two sides immediately clashed. However, many of the soldiers of the City Lord's mansion were ordinary people. After the defensive, profound realm cultivators joined in the battle, the situation of the battle was completely reversed. In an instant, blood dyed the entire city gate red. Several officers said anxiously, "City Lord, let's not continue this fight." "That's right. Otherwise, we'll lose our foundation. At that time, anyone can bully us." Could it be that profound, aristocratic families are truly invincible? That's right. City Lord, this is a battle between cultivators. It has nothing to do with us. I refuse to accept this. Right at this moment, Xiao Gu hugged Ji Yu and soared in the air. "City Lord, you've worked hard. Leave the rest to us." The City Lord took a glance. It was the newly recruited son-in-law of the Duan family. Ji Gongzi kill. Suddenly, the guards of the Duan family and the brothers of the 18 strongholds of Mystic Cloud charged in from all directions. This was especially true for those several stronghold masters. When they entered the crowd, it was as if they smelled the scent of blood. When they saw a few people fleeing in panic, they quickly chased after them and killed them with a single sword strike. When the remaining people saw this scene, they were all dumbstruck. The head of the Yi family sat on the stage. When he saw this scene, he immediately frowned. It was as if he was waiting for something. Suddenly, countless monstrous beasts appeared from the dense forest on both sides. They opened their bloody mouths one after another. Many people from the 18 strongholds of Mystic Cloud were affected. Ji glanced at Xiao Gu. Xiao Gu was floating in the air, and a terrifying pressure pressed down on Ji Yu. The demonic beasts could feel the powerful pressure. They lowered their heads and wailed. A servant pointed at Ji Yu and said, "That's him." After saying this, Master Yi raised his head and looked at Ji Yu. He rode on a demon beast and pointed his sword at Ji Yu. A huge killing intent locked Ji Yu in place. Ji Yu smiled and said, "You are Master Yi, right?" Old Master Yi coldly snorted, "Brat, you killed my bloodline and cut off my descendants. You deserve to die. Come." Old Master Yi grabbed the beast's head and lifted it up. Instantly, the beast ran out and charged towards Ji Yu. A few disciples from the 18 strongholds of Mystic Cloud wanted to stop him. Old Master Yi coldly snorted, "You want to stop me with just your strength?" Suddenly, a gust of wind blew. A huge iron hammer appeared in Old Master Yi's hand and heavily smashed the disciples of the 18 strongholds of Mystic Cloud to death. He pulled the beast's fur in his hand. The beast stopped in front of Ji Yu. Cloud Extinction Fist Technique. He threw out a heavy punch. It was as if he had hit an iron wall. The iron wall instantly turned into a thick iron wall, and a crisp cracking sound could be heard. The wall collapsed. Old Master Yi did not expect that this brat would be able to shatter his protective aura with a single punch. "You are actually an expert above the spirit profound realm." "Not yet, but you can be on your way." After saying this, Ji Yu was about to kill Old Master Yi. However, a silver light flashed, and Ji Yu missed. A woman with a veil appeared in the air. "Lord, save me." "Ji Yu, I will not rest until you die. May I ask who you are?" "Cut the crap. Prepare to die." That woman pulled out a long sword and started to exchange blows with Ji Yu. Ji Yu lightly frowned. She suddenly stopped. "You are injured and can't use your full strength. You are not my opponent. Cut the crap. Watch my sword." The long sword arrived in front of Jiyu in the blink of an eye. Jiyu abruptly retreated and unleashed the 3,000 clouds movement. In the blink of an eye, the two of them entered the depths of the forest. As expected, although that woman had the strength to catch up to him, because of her injuries, she could not catch up to him. Jiyu had been waiting here for a long time. She heavily punched out. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the air and quickly fell to the ground. Jiyu quickly stepped forward and placed the long sword on her throat. Looking at the blood at the corner of her mouth, Jiyu indifferently asked, "Who are you? Why do you want to kill me?" The woman closed her eyes and said in despair, "Just kill me." Jiyu lightly flicked the sword in his hand. Suddenly, the veil on the woman's face gently floated down. "It's you?" The memory of that night also returned to Jiyu's mind. He put away the long sword. "Why are you doing this? Beast despicable and shameless. Either you kill me, or I will kill you one day." Jiyu heaved a sigh before pulling out a small jade bottle from her storage ring. Then, she leaned forward. The seven-colored heavenly snake was just about to move. However, because the place where Jiyu hit was coincidentally the route of her mystic energy, she took a deep breath. She screamed, "You don't come over." Jiyu did not pay attention to her words. He just grabbed her hand roughly. This was his first woman. If he killed her, Jiyu could not bear to. Jiyu poured out some healing liquid from the jade bottle and smeared it on the seven-colored heavenly snake's back. The seven-colored heavenly snake trembled. He said indifferently, "What's wrong? Why don't you kill me? I can't bear to." Why can't you bear to? You are my woman." The seven-colored heavenly snake only felt a wave of heat pass through her bones. Her mystic energy seemed to be able to circulate again. Jiyu put the jade bottle in her hand. "Once a day for 20 consecutive days. Your injuries have healed. However, don't go killing people. It will only increase your internal injuries." The seven-colored heavenly snake felt that talking to Jiyu was like punching a ball of cotton. She could only tactfully say, "All right, Jiyu, I will let you go this time. The next time we meet, I will definitely kill you." After saying that, the seven-colored heavenly snake's face turned red. In the blink of an eye, she disappeared. Jiyu sighed. This was really an extraordinary woman. After dealing with the seven-colored heavenly snake, Jiyu returned to the battlefield. Although he was no longer there, Xiaogu easily beat up the Yi family's people. Many of the Yi family's experts had already fallen in a pool of blood. Old Master Yi had long seen that the situation was not good. At some point, he brought the elites of the family and fled. When the remaining Yi family's disciples were either dead or injured, they were all captured by the city lord's people and thrown into prison. Long live. We won. Our Wind Moon City defeated North Desert City. This is all thanks to Ji Gongzi. They recalled that the moment the seven-colored heavenly snake appeared, it was like a goddess, completely suppressing everyone. However, after meeting Jiyu, it was as if the brilliance on her body was snatched away by Jiyu. Jiyu said indifferently, "If it wasn't for your esteemed manner buying time for us, we wouldn't have been able to rescue them in time. There would have been many casualties." The city lord felt a sweetness in his heart. Not long ago, someone had praised him like this. Moreover, it was this kind of cultivator. The city lord cupped his hands and said, "Ji Gongzi is too polite." Jiyu said indifferently, "This one believes that the city lord of Wind Moon City will one day rise to great heights. This one still has matters to attend to, so I will take my leave first." This time, Jiyu did not choose to slowly walk back. Instead, she used her movement technique and disappeared in the air. Ji Gongzi is truly an expert. I'm afraid that even in the Drunken Moon Empire, there won't be anyone stronger than Jiyu. Duan Manor. Corpses were placed in front of the front manor. Jiyu led a group of disciples and people from the 18 strongholds of Mysterious Cloud to the front of the front manor. She raised a cup of wine. "Warriors, you have all done well. Rest in peace. Brothers, rest in peace." Everyone shouted in unison. Jiyu said slowly, "Brothers, our people died just like that. Do you think we can bear with it?" "No." "Then what should we do?" Annihilate the Yi family. Annihilate the Yi family. Get on the horses. In fact, this place was only half a month away from Mo Bay City. With Ji-Yu's movement technique, there was no need for her to ride a horse. However, she needed to wait for them, so she had to be patient. A group of people left Wind Moon City in a grandiose manner. They headed in the direction of Mo Bay City. The Yi family also received the news. When Master Ye's Qi Gang was broken by Ji-Yu, he was already seriously injured. When he heard the news, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Bastard, bastard. You killed my successor, and now you want to take over my family business? Master, what should we do now? At this moment, a black-robed man walked in. The servants stood up nervously. There were so many experts guarding outside. How did this person get in? Are you going to deal with Ji-Yu? Yes. Half a month later, the lord of our sub-palace will come out of seclusion. If you are willing, we can help you. Are you serious? Of course. I have many envoys. On the road, Ji-Yu was hanging a small blade of grass. Beside her, Xiao Gu was looking at the scenery outside the carriage with a bored expression. Suddenly, Zhaoying walked over. She looked at Ji-Yu nervously. Ji Gongzi. What's wrong? Ji-Yu asked in confusion. Zhaoying said, go and see my father. Ji-Yu had a bad feeling. She immediately said, take me there. Chapter 543. The carriage stopped at the side. Originally, Ji-Yu didn't agree to Master Zhao's trip, but Master Zhao insisted. His already severely injured body became even worse. Ji-Yu covered his body with her mental power. If he had enough medicinal herbs now, he would be able to save it. He said to Zhaoying, if only there was devil grass here. Zhaoying didn't know what to do now. A guard immediately said, Miss, there is devil grass in the depths of the forest. Ji-Yu immediately led a few guards and rushed into the forest. But what they didn't know was that the moment they entered, the surrounding forest suddenly moved. He then closed the entrance. After walking into the depths of the forest, a roar suddenly sounded. One of the guards disappeared in an instant. The remaining guards immediately became vigilant. They surrounded Ji-Yu. Ji Gongzi, there's something strange here. You have to be careful. Ji-Yu nodded and looked around, but didn't find anything. The devil grass guard who reported just now said, Ji Gongzi, devil grass usually grows in those caves. Ji saw the caves inside and took a step forward. The guards beside him took the lead and ran into one of the caves. Ji followed closely behind. Just as they entered the cave, another scream sounded and another guard disappeared. Suddenly, Ji took a step forward. Come out, don't play tricks. When her voice fell, the surroundings were still silent. Ji took out her artifact and swung her sword forward. Suddenly, a loud rumbling sound was heard. A stone statue in front of her suddenly exploded. The stone statue suddenly broke into pieces. It was as if a human-shaped bat-body monster walked out, holding a long, three-pronged spear in its hand. This monster didn't have any Xian energy. A few of the guards burst into laughter. Ji Gongzi, this monster doesn't have any profound energy. We can deal with it. Ji sensed that something was amiss and said faintly, be careful. As soon as he finished speaking, several guards had already rushed up. However, at this moment, a battle was about to break out. The monster grabbed one of the guards and flew into the sky. It swung its arm and threw the guard to the ground. The guard spat out a mouthful of blood. Clearly, there was no aura left. The remaining 3 guards put their swords together. At this moment, Sangu's Xian energy gathered together. It transformed into a long sword. The sword floated in the air and flew towards the monster. Struck by the sword, the monster howled in pain and spread its wings again. It flew towards Ji, and the giant lion beside it suddenly pounced out, opened its bloody mouth, and bit the monster's wing. The monster was in pain, and one of its wings was torn off. Ji ran a few steps forward, picked up the long sword in her hand, and stabbed it into the monster's head. The monster was killed in one blow, and the 3 guards stood up with some lingering fear. They saw a huge stone behind the monster. Ji cut off the monster's right arm. She placed it in the gap on the stone. With a loud bang, the stone retreated, and they stepped into the cave behind the stone, only to see a field of flowers and grasses appear here. In the sea of flowers, a young girl was sleeping on a stone platform. The guards had never seen such a scene. Ji said lightly, "Go out." "Yes." After saying that, the surrounding guards walked out. Looking at the stone platform, they saw that the young girl on the stone platform was the seven-colored heavenly snake. It seemed that the power of these herbs was continuously entering the seven-colored heavenly snake's body, along with the last trace of Xian energy. The light on the young girl's body suddenly disappeared. Jiyu gently patted the seven-colored heavenly snake's body. The seven-colored heavenly snake suddenly opened its eyes, took a step back, and left Jiyu's palm in fear. The corners of Jiyu's mouth curled into a smile. "I've seen it, so there's no need to be polite. Shameless." Once angry, the wounds on the seven-colored heavenly snake's body began to be injured again. Ji put her hand on her back. After all, the seven-colored heavenly snake was different from ordinary people, and the Xian energy in her hand began to repair the other party's meridians. After a while, Ji stood up. "Do you feel better now?" The seven-colored heavenly snake blushed and hummed. "I only took a part of the power of these herbs, and there's still a lot of Xian energy in them as a reward for this time. But you ruined my pleasure, so don't think that I'll let you go." In the blink of an eye, the seven-colored heavenly snake turned around and disappeared. Looking at the seven-colored heavenly snake, Jiyu sighed helplessly, and with a thought, all the flowers, plants, and medicinal pills here were all put into the storage ring. It just so happened that the devil grass was also in it. Holding the devil grass and returning to the crowd, several alchemists said, "The devil grass is extremely difficult to purify and refine. Only a fifth-grade alchemist can successfully refine it, but we should be able to do it together. Ji Gongzi, let's help." Jiyu hummed. They stood in front of the table, and each of them found a pill furnace in their hands. Jiyu said, "Wait a moment, leave the task of purification to me." After saying this, Jiyu raised her hands and threw the devil grass into the pill furnace, and the flame in the jade bottle directly entered the pill furnace. The raging fire suddenly burned and gradually turned the devil grass inside into powder. The surrounding alchemists took in a deep breath. The refining of this devil grass is so difficult, but Ji Gongzi can actually refine it in such a short time. He is really talented. Yes, Ji Gongzi is really amazing. If only we were at this level. After refining the medicinal powder, Jiyu felt that it would take a few days for them to start. If they delayed the journey, then they would suffer a big loss. Thinking of this in her heart, Jiyu's Xian Qi in her hands increased, and the medicinal powder gradually gathered. After only half an hour, the medicinal pill quickly took shape, and a huge light was released from the pill furnace. At this time, the pill furnace couldn't bear Jiyu's power and suddenly burst. The whole pill furnace suddenly fell apart. Jiyu suddenly withdrew her Xian Qi, and the medicinal pill was instantly formed. A medicinal pill appeared in Jiyu's hand. Heaven Profound Pill. This is actually a Heaven Profound Pill. But isn't the strongest medicinal pill that can be refined from the devil grass a fourth-grade medicinal pill? You don't know. In the hands of a fifth-grade alchemist, fifth-grade medicinal pills can be refined. So it's like this. One of them said excitedly, "Fifth-grade medicinal pills, that is really the pinnacle of alchemists." Jiyu walked in front of the carriage. Zhao Chong looked at the Heaven Profound Pill in Jiyu's hand and said excitedly, "How can this old man eat this medicinal pill?" The medicinal pill's effect is to let people eat it, and now you are just eating the medicinal pill. After saying this, Jiyu put the medicinal pill in Zhao Ying's hand. Zhao Ying put the medicinal pill in Zhao Chong's mouth. Zhao Chong suddenly opened his eyes, and his whole body suddenly trembled. The muscles and bones in his body quickly gathered and gradually began to repair. Jiyu said indifferently, "Master Zhao, how do you feel now?" Master Zhao said indifferently, "Much better now." He opened his eyes and stood up. Not only has his body recovered, but his strength has also reached the peak of Tongxian realm. Zhao Chong is in a good mood, and personally led a few brothers to hunt a few fierce beasts in the dense forest. The brothers ate the group of wild beasts, and their mood immediately became better. On the North Desert City, there are many black-robed people walking around, looking in the direction of Jiyu from afar. A group of people arrived at the bottom of the city wall. A few black-robed people took a step forward, and the Xian energy in their hands suddenly gathered into a powerful Xian energy. Xian skill, God's descent. However, at this moment, a powerful Xian energy appeared in the air and gradually pressed down. It was like a god slapping down a huge palm. The 18 fortresses of Mystic Cloud and the Duan family's troops were unable to react in time, and a loud boom sounded, and hundreds of people were instantly smashed into pieces by this Xian skill. Ha ha! Jiyu, you should also repay the debt you owe our Deicide Palace. The one who spoke is the palace master of Deicide Palace's Drunken Moon Branch Palace. Emoshio. A gentle breeze blew, and Emoshio's sinister face appeared in front of everyone. They only saw a long scar on his face. He looked at Jiyu fiercely and said to Jiyu indifferently, "Yi family head, you should also come out." Yi family head sat on a chair and was pushed out. The remaining forces of the Yi family gathered around Yi family head. Although they are ordinary people, they still have tens of thousands of troops. He said, "Although all the elites of our family are dead, all of our troops can still fight to the death with these martial cultivators. Yi family soldiers, listen to my orders." Yes. After they finished speaking, the city gate immediately opened. Tens of thousands of elite soldiers gathered by ordinary people charged out. A Duan family's defensive profound realm expert laughed loudly. "I must show off in front of Ji Gongzi." A long sword appeared in his hand. The long sword was swung over, and a loud boom sounded. One of the generals in the middle of the Yi family rushed out, waving a horsewhip as he ran out. He waved the horsewhip down, and the whip fell down. With a bang, the Duan family's defensive profound realm expert was forced to retreat. However, the defensive profound realm expert immediately laughed in disdain. Chapter 544. The incoming Yi family general had the back of a tiger and the waist of a bear. He sent the defensive profound realm expert flying with his spear. When he landed on the ground, he was no longer breathing. General Lian Qi is mighty. The Yi family soldiers immediately became excited. They did not expect their general to be so powerful. Brothers, did you see that? These so-called defensive profound realm experts are only SOSO. Follow me and kill them. Ji was about to get up when Master Wang quickly said, "Ji Gongzi, this brat is so arrogant. Let me teach him a lesson." Okay. Master Wang was overjoyed when he got Jiyu's approval. Earth-rank mystic skill, Thousand Wolves Field. In the blink of an eye, a long sword appeared in his bare hands. After a burst of cyan-colored profound energy, 3 wild wolves instantly flew out. These 3 wild wolves actually had 6 blood-red eyes on their heads. In the blink of an eye, they had already devoured the guards. They turned their heads and stared at Lian Qi fiercely. Lian Qi was not afraid. The 3 wolves pounced forward at the same time. Lian Qi stabbed forward with his spear. Jiyu had a bad feeling. Be careful. Master Wang could not react in time. The 3 wolves that pounced were torn apart by the spear and turned into specks of starlight. If Master Wang had not reached the Tongxin realm and had a protective aura shield, he would have ended up like that defensive profound realm guy. Ji could see that this guy had trained his body to the Tongxin realm. His physical strength was no different from a Tongxin realm expert. If not for the fact that he could not use mystic energy, Master Wang would not be his opponent. The Yi family soldiers all raised their spears and cheered. "General Lian, kill this thief and avenge our Yi family. My elder brother died because of this brat. General Lian, you have to avenge me." Suddenly, a familiar scent entered Ji Yu's nose. Looking around, a young girl was standing in the forest and observing Ji Yu. 7-colored heavenly snake. It was this silly girl again. Lian Qi found that Ji Yu's attention was not on him at all. He did not know where she was, so he sneered. "Brat, since you dare to look down on me, don't blame me for being impolite." As soon as he finished speaking, the spear in Lian Qi's hand danced like a dragon, leaving only afterimages in the air. Ji took a step back. Ding! Host has used 3,000 clouds movement and obtained 1 by 999 times proficiency. He watched as Jiyu disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Lian Qi also started to panic. What happened? Jiyu appeared again, but this time, she was behind him. Lian Qi turned his head and thrust out his spear, which instantly turned into starlight that filled the sky. It was different from ordinary starlight, as this starlight could kill people. Ding! The host has watched Dance of the Stars in the sky. Ding! Obtained the heaven-grade profound skill Dance of the Stars. Jiyu looked at the gun that was closing in on her and suddenly smiled. Lian Qi remembered his strange behavior before. What a joke. A person who is about to die still dares to laugh? Go to hell. However, what happened next was something he had never expected. Heaven-grade profound skill, Dance of the Stars in the sky. At the same time, a storm of spears appeared in the air. One side represented the dignity of the profound practitioners. The other side was a mortal with no aptitude who entered the Tao. Two skills that were exactly the same. Rumble ding. Host has used Dance of the Stars in the sky and obtained 1 by 999 times proficiency. As the thick smoke fell, the soldiers from both sides looked over. The first to enter their sight was Lian Qi. Although he was covered in blood, he was still standing. Then they looked at Jiyu. Although she was also standing, the spear had already entered her body. Clearly, the outcome was already decided. Lian Qi laughed. Although I don't know where you stole my spear technique, this general will not bicker with a dead person. Long live the general. The general is mighty. On top of the city walls of North Desert City, Master Yi and the branch palace masters heard the shouts of praise from below the city walls. They suddenly had some doubts in their hearts. Was Jiyu really that weak? She was killed by them just like that? Not to mention that they didn't believe it. Even Master Yi, who wanted Jiyu to die the most, didn't dare to believe it. Quickly go and see what happened. Lian Qi really enjoyed the feeling of being worshipped like this. However, at this moment, the spear in front of Jiyu was returned to his hand by the protective Qi aura around his body. Jiyu said indifferently, "Spear attribute profound skill, right? I could do it too." Dance of the Stars in the sky. In an instant, Lian Qi felt like he was looking at the stars in the night sky. Put on. The spear in the hands of this general made of flesh broke. He didn't believe that Jiyu actually used his self-created physical profound skill to defeat him. Do you dare to fight me with your physical strength without using profound energy? The Duan family army laughed disdainfully. Why should they fight the way you want to? However, Jiyu actually said indifferently, "Do as you wish." The Duan family army froze for a moment. Only Zhao Ying and Zhao Chong firmly believed in Jiyu. In the deep forest, 7-colored heavenly snake stomped its feet in anger at Jiyu's words. Is this brat stupid? This is clearly a trap. He actually jumped down. Although Lian Qi didn't expect Jiyu to agree, Jiyu was completely fooled this time. Take this. Lian Qi was like a fireball as he crazily threw a punch at Jiyu. This was the result of his continuous training day and night. Jiyu also rushed forward. She didn't use profound energy and just used her own body to wildly throw punches at Lian Qi. The soldiers of the two armies were even more dumbfounded. The fists of the two sides continuously collided. Kacha! The sound of bones breaking continuously came from Lian Qi's arm. He slowly knelt on the ground. The insufferably arrogant expression from before completely disappeared. What happened just now? I felt like I couldn't see anything clearly. It's too scary. It's just like a god descending. Everyone suddenly went into an uproar. Although in Jiyu's eyes, the opponent's movements were as slow as if they were stagnant, but in the eyes of the bystanders, they couldn't even see Jiyu's movements. Jiyu looked at Lian Qi, who had already closed his eyes and unceremoniously cut off his head, and raised it high. Those who surrender will not be killed. The members of the Yi family army thought in their hearts. Even a general who was capable of defeating Xian experts had been silently killed by Ji. So how could they possibly go against Ji? So they looked at each other and knelt on the ground. We are willing to surrender. The remaining Yi family members who had a blood feud with Ji immediately turned around and ran. Ji indifferently said, "Show me some sincerity." Those who surrendered were not willing to let go of this chance to live. One after another, they started to kill the Yi family members. Yi family head, who was sitting in a wheelchair, stared with his eyes wide open. Preposterous. Ji, I'm going to kill you. He angrily looked at the murdering God Shrine Branch Palace Master, who was wearing a black robe. Didn't you say you were going to help me? Now it's time for you to send your troops. The Palace Master of the Sub-Palace frowned. Noisy. After he finished speaking, he sent a palm strike towards Old Master Yi. Even if he was at the Spirit Profound realm, he was unable to resist the power of this palm strike. Murdering God Shrine Branch Palace Master's palm strike directly made him lose his protective chi aura. With a loud bang, Old Master Yi suddenly disappeared. What about you guys? Hearing his emotionless voice, everyone's heart trembled. They knelt on the ground and said, "We will listen to Palace Master's orders." Very good. Ji, we meet again. Ji pulled Xiao Gu's hand and floated in the air. The white tiger below them let out a low cry. You killed my Branch Palace Master and destroyed my faith. Today is the day of your death. Cut the crap. Ji used two extremely simple words to reply. In the blink of an eye, Ji had already closed in. Dance of the stars in the sky. This move again. Do you think it will work on this Palace Master? The black-robed man felt offended. With a roar, two balls of black profound energy gathered in his hands. Colorless raging flames. With a rumble, the entire city wall collapsed. Both of them used heaven-ranked profound skills. However, with this move, Ji's profound skill directly reached mastery. As for the Branch Palace Master, he had just comprehended it for 50 years. According to Ji's calculation, he could only be considered as a beginner. Naturally, the effect of using one was in the sky, while the other was on the ground. Suddenly, the Branch Palace Master suddenly laughed out loud. You're powerful. However, this old man still has a backup plan. Devil God's power. You take out a talisman. Bestow me with profound light. Suddenly, the members of the Yi family started to tremble in pain. Runes of different colors appeared on their arms and necks. Little brat, prepare to die. Those Yi family members acted as if they did not care about their lives. One of them pounced towards Ji. A burst of intense light flashed, and the surrounding people fell to the ground. Ji immediately went forward and sent that person flying with a punch. With a loud bang, Ji did not expect that this fellow would actually self-destruct. If it was not because his punch was fast enough, he would have died long ago. Ha! Let's see how many times you can dodge. More and more Yi family members crazily rushed in front of Ji and detonated their dantian in an attempt to kill Ji. Ding! Host used 3,000 clouds movement. 3,000 clouds movement obtained 999 times proficiency. Ding! Host used 3,000 clouds movement. 3,000 clouds movement obtained 999 times proficiency. Ding! Host used 3,000 clouds movement. 3,000 clouds movement obtained 999 times proficiency. Ding! Host used 3,000 clouds movement. 3,000 clouds movement obtained 999 times proficiency. Ji's figure constantly flashed in and out of the crowd. Even if he was only relying on incantations to control them, as long as he could see, he would be able to lock onto the enemy. However, Ji's speed was something that he could not keep up with. Ji suddenly appeared behind the Branch Palace Master. The treasure was already in his hand. Despicable, watch me. At this moment, a huge ball of light suddenly turned into a golden light. It covered the Branch Palace Master's body. Let's see what you can do to this old man. However, his eyes suddenly widened. Chapter 545. It turned out that Ji had already arrived behind him. Dance of the Stars. If Lian Shi was still alive, he would be stomping his feet in anger. Are you done yet? All day long, you only know how to make fun of my profound skill. Do you think I don't care about my face? Ding, the host used Dance of the Stars and obtained 1 by 999 times proficiency. The palace master coldly snorted. So what if it was a heaven-ranked profound skill? He had absolute confidence in his protective chi aura. Even a third-level spirit, profound realm expert would not be able to break through it. Like a vast sea of stars, the shadows of the spear were exceptionally dazzling under the city walls. Ji took a step forward. In an instant, the spear in her hand stabbed out. Boom! Sizzle! The palace master's protective chi aura suddenly disintegrated. The long spear went straight for his throat. You want to kill me? The palace master was abnormally calm, not at all like a person who was about to die. He immediately pulled out 2 long snakes from his body. Go to hell. The long snakes were like lightning, breaking through Ji-Yu's protective chi aura and were about to bite his neck. Whoosh! With a gust of wind, the beautiful rainbow, heavenly snake appeared in front of Ji-Yu. His life is mine. You don't have the right to kill him. The rainbow heavenly snake was angry. Even she herself did not know why. Ji-Yu slowly asked, Are you following me? I said, I will kill you with my own hands. Naturally, I will follow you. Will you follow me in the future? The rainbow heavenly snake's face turned red from Ji-Yu's question. For a moment, she did not know how to answer. While breathing heavily, her chest heaved up and down. Even Ji-Yu, who had seen countless beauties, could not help but take a few more glances. Hey, the two of you. Do you even put me in your eyes? The palace master was a little angry. He was a dignified palace master of the deity's Templar, a peak second-level spirit, profound realm expert. But now he was being humiliated like this. This was simply outrageous. You dare to ignore me. Profound secret skill. Triple rage. In an instant, the profound energy in his body suddenly doubled. Because the 7-colored heavenly snake was already heavily injured before the battle with Ji-Yu, and then it was injured by Ji-Yu, it couldn't even change its original form. Right now, her strength was only around the 3rd level of the spirit profound realm, while the branch palace master's strength had suddenly soared to the peak of the 3rd level of the spirit profound realm, firmly suppressing her. Just as she was hesitating, the branch palace master had already activated the profound skill, Destruction of 1,000 Armies. If she was unable to block this move, her and Ji-Yu's lives would be on the line. Ji-Yu discovered that the 7-colored heavenly snake's strength had also begun to rise. But looking at her face, she seemed to be having a hard time. Could it be that this girl was using her life as the price to block this move? Ji-Yu immediately took a step forward. Ding! Host has used 3,000 clouds movement and obtained 1 by 999 times proficiency. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of her and gently patted her head. Are you stupid? Using your own lifespan to fight against him? Don't you want revenge? But be obedient and leave it to me. Following which, Ji-Yu inserted his spiritual energy into her forehead. In an instant, the skill that was originally on her body quickly faded away. Destruction of 1,000 armies. This was the branch palace master's proudest profound skill. Other than the group of abnormal people in the main hall, there had never been anyone who could block it. Ji-Yu is currently motionless. Wasn't this a fool? Thinking of this, the branch palace master laughed out loud. Fool! Following that, a heavy blow landed on him. Boom! A loud sound rang out, and everything was as calm as smoke. Ji-Yu's body was like a mountain, not moving at all. He was dumbfounded. What is going on? In an instant, Ji-Yu moved and heavily swung a fist. Ding! Host has used Thunderous Fist and obtained 1 by 999 times proficiency. His fist was like thunder, causing a thunderous explosion in the air. With a trace of lightning, it heavily collided with the branch palace master. The branch palace master personally witnessed his own treasured weapon shatter into pieces and personally witnessed Ji-Yu send his entire arm flying. Puff! A mouthful of blood was spat out from his mouth. He knelt on the ground, bleeding from the corner of his mouth. Duan Jiajun shouted excitedly. Long live! Ji Gongzi is good. Ji Gongzi is the immortal in my heart. Nonsense! How can immortals be more awesome than Ji Gongzi? There were different opinions, but all of them were in favor of Ji Yu's majestic figure. Everyone in the deicide temple looked at each other. Retreat. Fort Master Wang was the first to react. Damn it. Want to leave? Catch them for me. Duan Jiajun and the 18 Fort Mystic Clouds brothers rushed forward. After killing the stubborn members of the deicide temple, the remaining ones suddenly smiled. Do you think you have one? Suddenly, the branch palace master who was originally kneeling on the ground dripped blood onto the ground. The surrounding blood gradually merged together. It formed a strange symbol. It was called Tai Chi, but it was not Tai Chi upon closer inspection. It looked like 3 long snakes gnawing at each other's bodies. The 7-colored heavenly snake took a deep breath and grabbed the neck of the branch palace master. Who are you? Tell me. The branch palace master's face was covered in blood and looked extremely ferocious. Suddenly, he grinned and laughed. I am the branch palace master of the deicide temple. Deicide temple, you deserve to die. The 7-colored heavenly snake gritted his teeth and said. Then he stabbed down with his sword. Ji Yu stepped forward. You know him? The 7-colored heavenly snake sighed. He is not worthy. Then the 7-colored heavenly snake told Ji Yu a story. Originally, the Monster Beast clan was not like this. They used to live in the 4 great regions, and she was one of the 2 protectors under the Beast King. The Beast King and the Ice Queen had an agreement that the human race and the Beast clan would develop peacefully. Unexpectedly, the Queen was plotted against, and there were traitors from the Beast clan who joined in the turmoil. That person was the 9 heavenly snake. He was also one of the 2 protectors. Before the Beast King died, he used all his strength to seal him. However, in the end, he was still not strong enough and escaped. For so many years, the 9 heavenly snake had always wanted to break the seal, and the deicide temple was created by the 9 heavenly snake's soul. The 7-colored heavenly snake had been searching for a long time, but she could not find him. After hearing her words, Ji Yu immediately understood. Then they really do deserve to be killed. It's good that you understand. The 7-colored heavenly snake turned around and said to a disciple of the deicide temple who still had breath, spare his life. Immediately after, a deep sound came from the sky. 7-colored heavenly snake. I will come and find you. And Ji Yu. After saying that, the voice disappeared. A huge snake broke out of the ground from the snake pattern of the branch palace master. It twisted its body and roared at Ji Yu. This is just a 4th-rank mystic beast. The 7-colored heavenly snake said with some disdain. Just as it was about to attack, Ji Yu suddenly pulled it back. Fortunately, Ji Yu's hand speed was fast enough. Just as she pulled it back, the snake suddenly spat out a mouthful of black liquid. A few of the Yi family soldiers could not dodge in time and were directly melted. They turned into a faint, thick fog. Ji Yu threw a punch. The punch was like thunder and lightning. With a boom, it sent the snake flying. The snake's thick body smashed into the ground. It was as if the entire earth was shaking. Ji Yu, be careful, Xiao Gu reminded. As expected, the snake spat out countless mouthfuls of black liquid towards the sky in the next second. The black liquid filled the sky in an instant. Countless drizzles slowly fell. As the drizzles fell, countless screams sounded. Even Xiao Gu had no way to deal with it. Ji Yu thought of a plan. She completely released her mental power and enveloped the entire sky. Immediately after, the chi aura on her body expanded endlessly and covered the sky, blocking all of the devouring rain in the sky. Even Ji Yu had a trace of sweat on her forehead. Right at this moment, the 7-colored heavenly snake stepped forward and slowly placed its hand on her back. A majestic mystic strength came. In an instant, Ji Yu's chi aura wrapped around a lump of black liquid and bounced it back. The snake was corroded by its own liquid and let out a painful cry. Its body softened and fell to the ground. Ji Yu said indifferently, "Quickly take a look inside its body." The 7-colored heavenly snake stepped forward and peeled open its belly. A beast core appeared in her hand. This may be of help to your recovery. Immediately after, Jiyu walked in front of the snake and instantly put its corpse in her storage ring. No one felt that there was a problem. At this moment, Jiyu is a godlike existence in everyone's eyes. The people who were not affected quickly captured all of the remaining Yi family members. The city lord of North Desert City quickly ran out. He politely said to Jiyu, "Ji Gongzi, I have captured all of the remaining members of the Yi family." Jiyu smiled slightly. Not bad. From tomorrow onwards, some of the brothers of the 18 strongholds of Mystic Cloud will live in your City Lord Mansion. And from now on, North Desert City will be attached to Windy Moon City. North Desert City, which was once a popular city in the Drunken Moon Empire, has become a second-rate city. But does the City Lord dare to resist? He used to live by the Yi family's face. Now, it was just a change of master. As for the royal family, they have not appeared yet. The City Lord did not have any hope at all. Jiyu brought a group of people to the Yi family. A servant of the Yi family was pushed out and knelt on the ground. He trembled. "Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Let me ask you, have you seen this box?" "Yes, yes." He looked at the box in Jiyu's hand and said firmly, "Lead the way." The servant brought Jiyu to the back garden of the Yi family. Behind a rockery, a flower pot was moved and a huge basement appeared. After walking in, a huge cave appeared. "Where's this place?" "This is the place where they keep their treasures." Everyone walked in and saw that there were shining stones everywhere. "I didn't expect the Yi family to have so much black iron. Holy *T, this mountain of gold coins." But no matter how they searched, they could not find the wooden box. Jiyu touched the soul rope, but the remnant soul did not have any reaction. Could it be that the thing was not in the Yi family? Jiyu walked out with some doubts in her heart. At this time, one of Chiyun's brothers walked in. Chapter 546. Ji Gongzi. There's someone outside who says he's from the Wine Master Union. He wants to see you. Of course, Jiyu said calmly. He walked out the door, then burst out laughing. "So it's you." "Of course it's me. Do you remember me, little friend?" Jiyu smiled. He was the one who'd given Jiyu the recipe for her first wine. Uncle Limo, Jiyu said calmly. "Why are you here?" "It's all because of you," he said. "Now the young miss has the final say in the family. She's like a housekeeper. I was chased out to deal with a few things. Then I met someone from the Wine Master Union. He said I was talented and took me in as an apprentice. Why did it feel like this guy was forced to do everything? Only then did Uncle Mo clearly state the purpose of his visit. He'd come to send out invitations on behalf of the Wine Master Union. In 3 days, the wine tasting assembly would be held in the capital of the Drunken Moon Empire, Yanjiu City. The wine master would be invited to participate. Ji was still thinking about the wooden box. She was about to refuse. Suddenly, Uncle Mo noticed the wooden box in Jiyu's hand. Isn't this the reward the Wine Master Union is offering? How come it's in your hands? Is that true? Jiyu smiled. I'm afraid I won't find it, but I'm in this mountain. He was probably talking about Uncle Mo. Uncle Mo pulled out an invitation card. Seeing the card in Jiyu's hand, the serpent said, "You have business to attend to. I need to find the Godslayer's temple." The captured member of the Godslayer's temple cried out in fear. "I really didn't do it. I beg you, let me go. You've done all kinds of evil. It's time to pay the price." The serpent said viciously. The man was still unconvinced. He continued to beg for mercy. "I really didn't do it. I beg you, let me go. I didn't use the children to worship the demon god. I really didn't kill them." Jiyu, who was about to leave, suddenly stopped. He suddenly unleashed his aura, and his astral energy surged out automatically. Then, he threw a punch at the other party. The palace disciple spat out a mouthful of blood. "What did you just say?" It was obvious that Jiyu was really angry. The 7-colored heavenly snake did not expect Jiyu to care so much. She grabbed his hand and said gently, "Don't be angry. Let me investigate this matter first. All right, when the time comes, you and I will join hands and completely wipe out this deicide palace." The 7-colored heavenly snake looked at Jiyu seriously and agreed. Xiao Gu and the brothers from the 18 strongholds of Mystic Clouds also said that they wanted to go with Jiyu. Jiyu said calmly. This time, I can go alone. He left Xiaogu and Wind Moon City. Taking advantage of the night, he flew towards Yinjiu City. Ding, the host has taken a step. 3,000 clouds movement has gained experience, won by 999 times. In just a few days, he arrived at Yinjiu City, which others would need a month to reach. Jiyu looked up at the capital city. Unlike the other places in the Drunken Moon Kingdom, this place was much more prosperous. All kinds of hawkers could be heard on the streets. However, there were not many Xian practitioners. Looking at all kinds of strange clothes, they all walked into the city. It was Jiyu's turn. 2 soldiers intercepted him. Wait. Jiyu stopped in his tracks and asked, when? This is the capital city of the Drunken Moon Kingdom. I wonder if the soldiers looked at Jiyu from head to toe. They felt that he was dressed very neatly. He should be a young master from a rich family. Sir, we don't know when you've come to the capital city. Recently, there have been a lot of things, so the king wants us to investigate more. I hope you won't take offense. I've come to participate in the Wine Master Assembly. Oh, so that's how it is. Please show me your invitation. Jiyu handed it over. The soldiers looked at it, only to see the golden seal at the bottom. Very well, sir, please enter. As soon as Jiyu walked in, a mocking voice came from behind him. What are you doing? That guy is dressed so shabbily and you let him in, but I can't. What is the meaning of this? Jiyu stopped in his tracks. He was already in a bad mood these past few days. Now that he heard this arrogant voice, how could he bear it? He turned around. The soldiers smiled apologetically. My apologies, sir. Recently there have been a lot of things. Fuck your mother's bullshit. That kid. Yes, I'm talking about you. Give me your bullshit invitation. Jiyu laughed. The invitation is mine. Do you think I'll give it to you just because you want it? Here are 3 gold coins, enough for you to spend for the rest of your life. Hurry up and hand over the invitation. Jiyu was in no mood to continue paying attention to him. He turned around to leave. Suddenly, the servant beside that person. Are you rebelling? This is the eldest son of the Zhu family, Zhu Quan. If he offends you, he will lose his head. Jiyu sneered. If I didn't know, I would think that you are the king. You don't believe me when I say that you are a country bumpkin. Sir Zhu is the prime minister of the current royal family. Even the king has to listen to our master. The soldier pulled Jiyu. What he said is true. I was blind just now. Please come in. Jiyu saw that the soldier was acting. He didn't care about it. Just as he turned around, Zhu Quan suddenly called Jiyu and swaggered forward. He said to Jiyu with a mocking face, Kid, aren't you very arrogant? Jiyu looked at him coldly. When the servant saw that Jiyu was still acting arrogant, he took 2 steps forward and planned to teach Jiyu a lesson. He quickly threw out a punch. His fist couldn't even touch Jiyu's body. The energy around his body immediately covered his entire body. There was a loud boom. A thick cloud of smoke covered the city gate. The servant instantly turned into a bloody mist. The remaining few people charged in Jiyu's direction. Jiyu threw a punch. The 4 people flew backward at the same time. Zhu Quan was frightened. There was a smell of urine coming from his body. However, at this moment, Zhu Quan shouted, Why are you still in a daze? As a soldier of the Drunken Moon Empire, you have to protect me. Otherwise, I will ask your general to kill you. Jiyu smiled faintly and said, Sir Zhu, you are still in the mood to threaten others when you are about to die. Zhu Quan's body trembled. Suddenly, a young general riding a white horse came over from afar. Cousin, he was followed by a group of elite armored soldiers. Every one of them had the strength of the mystic enlightening state. They stood in front of Jiyu. One by one, they pulled out their precious weapons and stood in front of Jiyu. Cousin, you came at the right time. Grab this kid. I want to teach him a good lesson. Let's see who dares. Suddenly, an incomparably dignified voice called out. The group of soldiers stepped back one after another, and an old man with a wine gourd walked over shakily. Just now, someone told me that a young man with a golden invitation entered the city. Was it you? Jiyu grunted. But what does that have to do with you? The old man didn't expect to lose so much face in front of this young man. This old man is one of the leaders of the alliance. What you have should be my disciple's invitation. He said that an expert would come to our wine master conference. I didn't expect it to be an ignorant brat. Ji frowned. So this is how the wine master conference looks down on people. You don't even need to participate. Wait, young man, do you recognize the wine in this old man's hand? As he spoke, he placed the gourd in front of Ji. Ding. The host smells abundance of gold and jade. Ding. The host has comprehended the recipe for abundance of gold and jade. Ji said calmly, abundance of gold and jade. It's very ordinary. She then threw the gourd back. Abundance of gold and jade. A single cup of this wine could send a person to another world for the rest of their life. In his hands, it was actually ordinary wine. The old man had only thought that this kid might have some skill. He didn't expect that he was just a braggart. Zhu Quan couldn't stand to watch any longer. He loudly cursed. Old man, I see you're about to enter your coffin. I'll give you a chance to get the hell out of here. Otherwise, don't blame me for not showing mercy. The old man looked at Zhu Quan. Kid, when I'm talking, it's best if you don't interrupt. Cousin, kill the two of them. The young general had an awkward expression on his face. Cousin, I don't dare. This old man is from the Wine Master Alliance. So what? The Wine Master Alliance is much stronger than our kingdom. Zhu Quan was speechless for a moment. Ji looked in his direction. With just a glance, Zhu Quan suddenly shouted. His mouth was full of blood. Kid, your Xian strength is not bad. Senior, you must be joking, but if you say my wine is ordinary, I won't accept it. This is a fine wine that has been passed down for thousands of years. Even I can't replicate it. You actually say it's ordinary. Let me see if you can bring me a cup of wine that satisfies me today. Ji ordered several ordinary ingredients. Then she took out a bottle of strong wine. She put in a few grains and shook it. Okay, taste it. She threw the bottle over. The old man smelled the wine. Strange, really strange. This wine's fragrance is exactly the same. After lightly tasting a mouthful, the old man's soul felt like it was about to ascend to heaven. They didn't seek to improve their Xian strength. They soaked their whole lives in wine. It could be said that if some wines didn't require Xian strength, they wouldn't spend time cultivating it all. But this kind of hard work couldn't compare to a little kid. The old man's face was full of tears. He said with a face full of shame, I didn't expect that young friend's wine-making skills were so high. With a bang, the old man knelt on the ground. He looked at Ji with incomparable seriousness. Young friend, no master. Please accept me as your disciple. Sorry, I don't accept disciples. Ji walked away with a helpless expression. The old man immediately chased after her. Chapter 547. It doesn't matter if you don't want a disciple. Seeing as you're all alone, I'm sure you're looking for someone to run errands for you? Ji Yu's eyes widened. She hadn't expected the old man to be so shameless. He chuckled playfully. Ji said calmly, follow me if you want. The old man followed behind Ji Yu like a happy child. When Zhu Quan returned to the mansion, he immediately called for several people to inquire about the old man's status in Yanzhou City. It turned out the old man was the third elder of the Wine Master Alliance. Only the president and two other elders could suppress him. No wonder he was so arrogant. However, this old man was too gullible. Perhaps Ji Yu just so happened to have the recipe for this wine. Young master, Ji Yu is staying in Clear Spring House. Zhu Quan said, find me the best wine master. I want to rip off Ji Yu's mask in front of the third elder. As you wish. The waiter came out to greet them. Young masters, may I ask what room you'd like to stay in? Ji Yu said, just give me the number 1 room in the sky. The sky room? The waiter said awkwardly. The sky room. We don't rent it out to the public. You don't want to do business? Young master, you may not know, but the sky room is reserved by the Zhu family's young master. The third elder laughed disdainfully. He stroked his beard. Have you received any money? Well, that's true. If you haven't, then why don't you do business with us? The waiter said politely. The last time we did this, the Zhu family beat the customer up. His voice trailed off. The third elder placed a medallion on the table. I don't know if I'm qualified or not. He stroked his beard. How could the waiter not recognize the medallion? It was the Wine Master Alliance's medallion. Ji said faintly, "This is for you." She placed a bag of gold coins on the table. The waiter's eyes rolled as he looked at the bag full of gold. "All right, but please be careful of the Zhu family." After saying that, he took the gold coins and retreated. The Sky Room 1 naturally belonged to Ji, while the Earth Room 1 belonged to the third elder. The two of them were eating in the main hall. Suddenly, a few people walked over. He swaggered and shouted, "Who are you, Ji? Come out, your grandpa Zhu is here." Ji raised her head and glanced at Zhu Quan. This time, Zhu Quan had brought two LV8 Tongxian realm experts with him. Evidently, this had boosted his confidence. "What? You still dare to come?" Zhu Quan snorted coldly. "Oomph. Don't try to mislead Third Elder." Third Elder, perhaps this brat accidentally obtained the wine formula, but his ability to brew wine is not strong. "That's right. If you have the ability, then compete with us." However, at this moment, two brewers walked out. Both of them were at Tongxian Realm LV5, but the level of their Xian energy did not represent their ability to brew wine. Isn't this South City's Chanhao? The South City's #1 brewer. Heavens, it is said that the wine he brews can directly help one break through to the defensive profound realm. Chanhao cupped his hands towards the crowd, looking like an immortal. "This one is Li Huai." The people in Spring Breeze restaurant took a deep breath. "Li Huai?" Even the third elder gave Li Huai a serious look. "Isn't this the Puppet Empire's #1 brewer? Why did he come to the Drunken Moon Empire? We'll be able to drink good wine later. I wonder if this brat has the ability." "I don't think so." Ji stood up. "This one is Ji. Oomph, just a nameless brat." Several people said, "Brat, show us all your abilities." "That's right. How can you compare to our Chanhao? And our Puppet Empire's #1, Li Huai?" The shop owner quickly cleared out a space and placed wine cups and various concocting ingredients on it. Chanhao cupped his hands and said, "This one will embarrass himself. Wait." Suddenly, Zhu Quan opened his mouth and said, "Wait, if you lose, you have to kneel in front of me and clean my shoes." Ji coldly snorted. "What if you lose? I, Zhu Quan, will disappear in front of you, Ji. Do you dare to let me state the conditions?" Zhu Quan coldly snorted and said, "You can say whatever you want. If I win, you can shout on the street that your Zhu family is a pig. The entire Yinzhou city must hear your voice." Zhu Quan's face suddenly turned blue and purple. "Okay, Ji, prepare to clean my shoes today." Chanhao never expected that this prodigal son could play so big. He was just taking the money to solve the problem. He took out the package on his back. He spread it on the table. Several wine bottles were reflected in everyone's eyes. They couldn't see what was so strange about it. Chanhao's hands moved quickly. He shook it twice. He put it on the table. Suddenly, his hand scattered. It was as if a sky full of stars appeared on the table. They turned into specks of starlight and fell on the table. Li Huai praised, "This powder is like starlight. It makes people's eyes light up." The lid of the wine bottle was opened, and a fragrance slowly came out. Everyone was immersed in the aroma of the wine and closed their eyes. It was as if they were drunk in a dream. "I'll embarrass myself." Li Huai hurriedly followed. He took out a small jade screen from his arms. Silver liquid flew down like a waterfall. Is this the wine in the mouth of the girl? This fragrance is amazing. I feel like I'm seeing a group of girls dancing in front of me." After adding a few spices, Li Huai's wine was considered a success. Myriad of colors. "I'll embarrass myself." The third elder stroked his beard. "This wine is pure white. How can it be myriad of colors?" Li Huai cupped his hands. "Third elder, look." He stretched out his hand, and suddenly a flame appeared on the wine cup. The wine in the cup became as red as blood. Taking a closer look, the wine became as blue as the deep sea. The third elder sighed. It was too strong. Ji took a step forward and slammed the table in front of her. A few mixers instantly flew into the air. Countless spices also flew at the same time. With a flash, Ji's hands moved. She chopped all the spices in the air into the sake. Then, she quickly closed the lid of the wine bottle. You're making wine again. Don't tell me you want us to wait a few years, or even 100 years. Haha, that's right. Ji, you're too arrogant. Li Huai and Chun Hao both added some spices to enhance the taste of their wine. But Ji step was to make wine again. The third elder also felt a little incredulous. Making wine again in the middle of a competition. Did they have to wait a few 100 years? He felt a little uneasy. Li Huai said indifferently, Third elder, we can see from this that this kid is just a fake. Third elder, don't be fooled by this kind of person. Ji enveloped the bamboo wine bottle with her earth energy. Under the cover of her dark energy, the wine quickly matured. Although the third elder had some doubts in his heart, he didn't believe that such a strong person like Ji would lie to him. Ding! Host has made Moon Reflection of the Spring. Winemaking experience gained. Won by $9.99. He said indifferently. Third elder, the wine is ready. Which one do you want to try first? The third elder suppressed his curiosity. He also guessed that Ji might be using her dark energy to catalyze the wine in the bottle. Perhaps it would be better to buy some time for the wine party. There was no wine aroma now. Then I'll try Drunken Dream first. Not only the third elder, everyone present was given a cup. Then, they would vote to choose the best winemaker. Everyone drank this cup of wine, as if their lives were in front of them. Sweet, sour, bitter, spicy, all kinds of tastes kept swirling in their mouths. A few of the older elders had tears in their eyes. After a moment of silence, everyone sighed. Wine is exactly what to use to drown your sorrows. Good wine, good wine. As expected of Chun Hao, Li Huai cupped his hands towards Chun Hao. Brother Chun, you must come to my residence as a guest. Of course. The third elder also put down his wine cup. Years of drinking made him forget what sorrows were. This kind of wine didn't have much effect on him, but the taste was not bad. Let's try myriad colors. After drinking a mouthful, the third elder's eyes widened. This wine is really too beautiful. Li Huai is really the #1 winemaker in the Puppet Empire. Everyone felt that this wine was too amazing and couldn't be described with words. When Zhu Quan saw everyone's intoxicated expression, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curve into a smile. Kid Ji, you're not drinking? I'm not used to drinking wine made by others. Stop boasting. If you beg for mercy now, I'll let you call me father at most. It's my turn. The third elder was also a little curious. Why didn't this wine have any wine fragrance? Ji opened the lid of the bamboo bottle in her hand. A burst of wine fragrance came, and everyone's eyes instantly blurred. This wine is too magical. It's as if I'm drunk just by smelling it. What should I do if I drink this wine? I can't help it. I want to drink a cup first. The third elder said indifferently. Wonderful, wonderful. Come, everyone, let's drink. Everyone picked up their wine cups. Even Zhu Quan wanted to see what was so magical about this wine. After drinking a mouthful, the whole Spring Breeze restaurant was suddenly filled with clinking sounds and the sound of wine cups breaking. Everyone present all lay on the table and fell asleep. Even the third elder was no exception. Everyone seemed to be in a dream. Seeing what they desired most, a satisfied smile appeared on their faces. Chapter 548. When they woke up again, it was already the morning of the next day. Everyone stretched their bodies in satisfaction. If not for the strange smell of the food on the table, they would not have known that the brilliance had faded away. This wine is truly incredible. This wine is something I will never forget for the rest of my life. Zhu Quan was also in disbelief. What's the use of all this fancy wine? Let's vote. Hurry up and vote. There's no need to vote. I'll give my vote to Ji. The rest of the people gave their votes to Ji one after another. The third elder said directly, Ji wins this round. Ji looked at Zhu Quan. What you said yesterday, does it still count? Zhu Quan was silent for a moment. I, your father, cannot take your humiliation. In the blink of an eye, Ji flashed forward. The profound energy in his hand suddenly released a ray of light. Immediately, he used his profound energy to make a move. Zhu Quan could only hear the sound of wind breaking in his ears. It was as if his ears were about to explode. Jiyu's profound energy had already reached the fourth level of the spirit profound realm. If he wanted to kill Zhu Quan in front of him, it would be no different from killing an ant. A few experts at the 8th level of the Tongxian realm walked out. They walked in front of Jiyu. "Please show some respect to our young master." Jiyu sneered. "Go away. Brat, don't be so arrogant." The experts made their moves at the same time. Various colored, profound energy appeared on their bodies. The profound energy turned into treasured weapons. A large iron hammer flew in the direction of Jiyu. Jiyu jumped up and suddenly punched out with his fists like the wind. All of a sudden, a few streams of qi started to shatter, along with the shattering of the profound energy. Jiyu took a step forward and slapped Zhu Quan's body with his palm. Zhu Quan's clothes were torn apart. However, Jiyu did not hurt him. Instead, he pulled him and took a step forward. Ding! Host has used 3,000 clouds movement. 3,000 clouds movement has gained 999 times experience. In the blink of an eye, Zhu Quan was already pinned down on the street. Everyone looked at Zhu Quan. Zhu Quan suddenly burst into laughter, as if he had gone mad. Jiyu saw that he seemed to have gone mad. He suddenly disappeared. Many soldiers walked out and grabbed him. Lord Zhu pulled him back. He sat down on a chair and started questioning his subordinates. However, the Tongxian realm expert under Zhu Quan had already been killed by Jiyu with a single punch. Several soldiers told him about the conflict between him and Jiyu. Master Zhu said fiercely, "Bring him to me. He's from the Wine Master Alliance." So what if they're from the Wine Master's Alliance? How dare they defy the imperial family so many times? Mobilize the imperial army from the capital and destroy them. Hold on. An old man wearing a black robe walked out. On his chest, there was a badge of the Deicide Palace. He opened his mouth to speak. "Wait until the Wine Master Conference. Jiyu's drunken dream will be used again. Wait until they're asleep, then we can." Lord Zhu laughed heartily. "When the time comes, we can capture them all and destroy them in one fell swoop." Several more days passed. The winemaker conference officially began. Many people had heard of Jiyu's drunken dream even before they left. They looked forward to the delicious taste of the wine. Many outstanding winemakers brought out their most satisfying products. The elders of the Wine Tasting Alliance all took a sip. In the end, however, none of the wine tasted as good as their mouths. They didn't feel the effects of the wine. They walked over to Jiyu. The third elder asked, "Young friend, your wine is delicious, but you can't let us all get drunk here, can you?" "Of course not. This time I've made a few adjustments." Only now did the crowd relax and enjoy the wine. After downing a cup of wine, they all fell asleep. When Lord Zhu saw this from atop the city walls, he waved his hand. Countless experts from the imperial family leapt down from the walls. But when they saw the people on the ground, they took a deep breath. They took a deep breath because they knew all of these people. How could the Grand Alliance give such an order? These people are all young masters or elders of the various aristocratic families. Lord Zhu hadn't expected so many sons of noble houses to be present. But then he said calmly, "So what? No one knows what we're doing with them." Jiyu hadn't drunk, but her psychic power had sensed the entrance of these people. But in order to find their secrets, Jiyu had deliberately hidden herself. The rest of the imperial family stepped forward and surrounded them. They unsheathed their swords. "Hold," the black-robed man said. "What do you think? I don't see that kid. Take the rest of them back." The rest of the imperial family took 2 steps forward. "Take them all back," the black-robed man ordered. The soldiers of the imperial family took a step forward and hauled them to their carriages. Jiyu changed into the clothes of an ordinary person and blended in with them. After a day's travel, the carriage finally arrived at a large fortress. The Wine Master Alliance's members slowly regained their senses. Jiyu walked up to the third elder. The third elder spoke with some shame in his voice. "My apologies, young friend. I had planned a grand banquet for all of you to participate in. I didn't think it would end up like this." Jiyu cupped her hands in greeting. "Third elder, please don't speak like that. I still have my chi, but I want to see what they're up to." Ji produced a small bottle of wine from her pocket. Please drink this wine, seniors. The 10th elder downed the wine in Ji hand. He felt a disturbance in his body. Previously, there seemed to be something that was restraining their respective profound energies. But after drinking this cup of wine, his profound energy directly broke through the seal. Ji spoke calmly. Seniors, how do you feel? We're fine, one of them said. Hurry up and distribute the wine. Ji shook her head. No, we don't know yet. We can't act rashly. Yes, yes, the 3rd elder said firmly. All right, the rest of the elders said. They all turned their heads. The black-robed man slowly stepped forward with the people behind him. They forced him to take a step forward. They abruptly turned their heads. A powerful surge of chi suddenly lit up. It shot up into the sky. The elders were dragged out and brought to a small platform. The beast's mouth opened wide. The blood eventually flowed to the 9 snake heads on the stone wall. At this moment, the snake's head slowly moved. Ji finally understood what they were doing. Suddenly, the chi in Ji hand lit up. She waved it forward, and the Mulan in front of her collapsed. Even the array formation on top of it instantly disappeared. The black-robed man turned around and looked at Ji. So it's you. Let them go. The black-robed man laughed. You're the only one here. What can you do? He clapped his hands. At this moment, hundreds of people rushed in from all directions. Each of them took out their own artifacts. Kill. Suddenly, the prison around them exploded. The Tongxian realm strength of the 12 elders was released. The imperial army of the Drunken Moon Empire was no match for them. They all died tragically under the sword. The black-robed man glanced at Ji. Brat, you dare to go against our deicide hall. Just wait to be hunted down. He disappeared. Ji said indifferently, Want to leave? As soon as he finished speaking, Ji punched out, and a loud boom resounded. The wall collapsed. Ji quickly moved forward and slapped him. The sand on the black-robed man's face fell. When Master Zhu saw his face, he was stunned. You're actually the Crown Prince. The Crown Prince of the Drunken Moon Empire, Michigan Sheng. Misheng snorted. Otherwise, do you think you can mobilize the Imperial Army? Old Master Zhu's expression changed, unable to believe what he was seeing. Although his current opponent was Ji, he had originally thought that the Crown Prince was just a hooligan who indulged in debauchery. This guy was actually so powerful. Crown Prince, this old minister's son has gone crazy. For his future wealth, you should die here. With that, he threw out the poison needle in his hand. The poison needle pierced into the other party's body. He was dazed for a moment. He didn't expect this thing to be so vicious that it could break through a Tongxian realm expert's chi shield. He said indifferently, Minister, this Crown Prince expected you to rebel, but I didn't expect that you won't be able to leave. With that, the Crown Prince slammed the jade wall. The valley began to shake violently. Even with Ji's strength, he couldn't survive in this situation. Ji immediately distributed the jade bottles. After everyone drank the wine, they recovered their xian qi. A large hole was opened, and they charged out. They arrived at the top of the cliff and saw Crown Prince Mi standing there. He was holding a small flag in his hand, and he was spitting out blood. Ji said, Move aside. This Crown Prince is going to die here today, so you'll have to accompany this Crown Prince on the road. Armani boom. The flag flew into the sky, and a golden light flashed. Ji also waved his hand. 2 golden lights intertwined in the sky. With a loud boom, the surrounding mountains began to collapse. Dark clouds covered the sky, and everyone felt a chill in their hearts. It was like a demon was approaching them. Ji Gongzi, save us. Over the past few days, Ji's ability had earned everyone's admiration from the bottom of their hearts. So when something happened, the first person they thought of was naturally Ji. Ji didn't expect that after today, his statue would be enshrined in every family. Chapter 549. The Crown Prince glanced at Ji. Let's die together. There was no antidote for the poison in his body in the entire Drunken Moon Empire. At this moment, he displayed his final madness. Ji pointed with both hands, and the Qian Kuan positions in the array formation were all reversed. The crown prince trembled with fear as he watched. A golden light flashed, and the crown prince spat out a mouthful of blood. Ji didn't delay and arrived in front of him in the blink of an eye. She stabbed the sword in her hand forward. The crown prince spat out a mouthful of blood. Ji, my father won't let you go. Then he fell off the cliff. Ji Gongzi is so young, but not only is his profound strength unfathomable, his winemaking skills are even better. If someone speaks badly of Ji Gongzi in the future, I'll fight them to the death. Everyone was talking about all kinds of things. Ji returned to Yinzhou City. The third elder took out a wooden box and placed it in front of Ji. Ji Gongzi, the champion of the Wine Master Tournament, was supposed to receive this as a reward. But you must return it within 3 years. Ji cupped his hands. This one only needs to look at it for a moment. The elders took a deep breath at the same time. Could it be that this Ji was able to comprehend the mystery behind this in such a short time? Although Ji was very strong, the contents of this wooden box were something no one could comprehend in 100 years. Ji took the wooden box and returned to the room. When the box was opened, a remnant soul walked out. It absorbed the brilliance within. This old man feels a little better now. Ji probed with his psychic power, but there's still a lot missing. Ji said indifferently, there's still one more wooden box in the puppet empire. Then I'll leave it to you. After packing up, Ji was the first to return to Wind Moon City. Xiao Gu had not seen Ji for a long time, and when he saw him, he immediately pounced on him. Zhao Ying's heart skipped a beat, but there was nothing he could say. Ji scratched Xiao Gu's nose. What happened? Xiao Gu pointed at Ji storage ring. Ji hadn't expected this little fellow's nose to be so sharp. He took out a cup of drunken life and handed it to Xiao Gu. The little girl received the wine and eagerly ran to the side to drink. After a few gulps, his eyes began to blur. Zhao walked up to Ji and touched his face. You must be exhausted during this time. I will personally cook a delicious meal for you. Zhao Ying's cooking skills were not to be underestimated. By the time evening came, a table full of exquisite dishes had been prepared. Ji directly ate 3 bowls of white rice. After dinner, Zhao Ying came to Ji's room and knocked on the door. Ji opened the door. It was Zhao Ying. Are you planning to leave again? Ji patted her head. Why can't you bear to? Zhao Ying rushed into Ji's arms. I just can't bear to. I was so afraid that you wouldn't come back. Ji gently patted her back. Why wouldn't I come back? Help me look after the 18 fortresses of magical clouds and wait for me to come back. Will you marry me? Of course. After saying this, Zhao Ying was unwilling to go back no matter what. She slept beside Ji. Ji and Ji were originally going to discuss the mysteries of the human body, but Zhao Ying lay on Ji's chest like a kitten and fell into a deep sleep. He couldn't bear to wake this kitten up. The next morning, Ji gently moved Zhao Ying's little hand away. Xiao Gu had already packed up early in the morning. The two of them said a few words to Zhao Chong and then turned to leave. Along the way, many rich young masters started to build a stone statue of Ji. They returned to Drunken Moon City. Ji sent the news of his return back in advance. Seeing Ji's return, Inksnow walked out of the room excitedly. The people from the mercenary group looked at the scene in front of them. When did this second master become so happy? Your master is coming back. Everyone's face also revealed a joyful smile. Half a month later, Ji and Xiao Gu arrived at the gate of the city wall. The people inside came out one after another and cupped their hands at Ji. Greetings to Ji Gongzi. Greetings to the master. The masters of the various aristocratic families naturally called Ji young master. The rest of them called Ji master. After Ji left, Inksnow took advantage of the fact that she still had the advantage and monopolized all the industries in Drunken Moon City. She also established a fan club to support Ji. Although the name was a little strange, all the aristocratic families were kicked in. The masters had no choice but to agree. Ji had just returned, and his aura was much stronger. Everyone was even more convinced. After the greetings with the various masters were over, Ji brought Inksnow into the room. He took out 3 pill bottles. Inks now trusted Gu completely. After taking the pill, there was a surge of spiritual power in his body. She didn't dare to be careless and immediately sat cross-legged on the floor. Her mystic energy quickly surged and broke through the veins in her body. A light purple chi aura suddenly formed around his body. A night passed, and Inks now only woke up the next morning. Feeling the huge change in her body, she covered her mouth in surprise. She never expected that she would break through to the Tongxian realm. It only took her half a year to break through from the defensive mystic realm to the Tongxian realm. Jiyu said calmly, "Let's go." "Where are we going?" "To your home, the Puppet Empire." When Inks now heard that Jiyu was going to her home, she jumped up in excitement. Could it be that Jiyu was going to propose marriage? Jiyu smiled when she saw the thoughts of a little girl like her. Jiyu prepared an especially large carriage. A huge lion replaced the horse and pulled the carriage in front. The space in the carriage was modified by Inks now to be very warm. At this time, there was endless yellow sand outside the carriage. The original location of the Puppet Empire was a piece of green hills and clear water. Gradually, with the change of time, the original oasis gradually turned into yellow sand. Countless horse caravans were moving. With GU's mercenary group, the entire desert showed a flourishing state. All of the horse bandits were gathered together. GU said calmly, "We have reached the border of the Puppet Empire. From now on, there will be no peace." Just as she finished speaking, suddenly, the yellow sand in front of them changed. They had just entered the territory of the Puppet Empire. Suddenly, the surrounding mountains changed. Countless insects appeared from the ground. Like locusts, they flew towards Jiyu. Xiao Gu frowned when she saw these insects. She seemed to be curious why she was not effective against the insects. These are not demonic beasts. Jiyu used her mental strength to explore. She did not sense any Xian energy fluctuation from these insects. Instead, it was as if there was something guiding these insects. Suddenly, the carriage shook violently. The giant lion was getting impatient from being pestered by these insects. It kept shaking off the insects on its head. However, when one of these insects was crushed, another dozen came. A group of people riding horses ran out from the mountains. The leader laughed. "As the saying goes, this road was opened by me. You know it." Jiyu walked out of the carriage. She threw a flag in her hand. Suddenly, all the insects rushed towards the flag. They gathered in a small cave. Jiyu lit a fire, and the bugs immediately burst into flames. "Get lost!" Inksnow's voice came from the carriage. At this moment, a horse bandit suddenly said, "Leader, they still have Chick. There's going to be fun tonight. Capture them." A few bandits jumped down from their horses and took out a huge wooden horse from their arms. Just as they placed it on the ground, suddenly, the wooden horse became incomparably huge. It roared towards the sky. Its eyes were spewing fire. It charged towards Jiyu. Jiyu leaped into the air and punched out with all his might. Boom! A loud sound rang out. The massive wooden beast was sent flying backwards. "Kid, your mystic energy is not bad. But so what? As long as you obediently hand over that girl, we brothers will have some fun. Then this marshal will spare your life." Jiyu smiled faintly. "No need." As soon as he finished speaking, his fists were like the wind. They directly bombarded the wooden beast. The wooden beast was instantly turned into pieces and fell to the ground. The bandits were all scared silly. This wooden beast had fought for them on the battlefield. Even Tongxian experts had to kneel and beg for mercy in front of this wooden beast. However, this kid was too monstrous. Jiyu stood in front of everyone. She directly grabbed the bandit leader's head. "Don't kill me. Don't kill me. I will give you all my treasures." As soon as he finished speaking, he took out a storage ring. Jiyu took out the storage ring. A huge consciousness rushed into Jiyu's mind. A trace of viciousness flashed across the bandit leader's eyes. He took out a dagger and stabbed it towards Jiyu's chest. At such a short distance, the divine sense in the storage ring was also attacking Jiyu. The bandit leader thought to himself, Even if you're a Tongshin realm expert, you're still a Tongshin realm expert. He wouldn't be able to activate his protective aura in time. As he thought of this, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. With a ding sound, Inks now appeared beside Jiyu. She shouted, "Mystic skill, flying snow." The bandit leader screamed in agony. His entire body was cut apart. Blood flowed out of his body continuously. Jiyu forcefully erased the consciousness in the storage ring. The remaining bandits knelt on the ground. "We were wrong. Please let us go." Jiyu had never been soft-hearted when dealing with bandits. With a swing of his sword, a scream of agony was heard. Jiyu returned to the horse and sat cross-legged on the cushion. She looked at the bandit leader's storage ring. When the old man saw Inks now, he was overjoyed. His old eyes started to tear up. "Young miss, you are finally back. Young miss, you are finally back. How is the family now? Young miss, the experts in the family are all dead. Your two brothers have also been crippled of their mystic powers. They're now completely useless." Uncle Fu glanced around. "Young miss, come in first. It is not safe outside." As he spoke, he pulled Inks now into the manor. The door closed. Just as the door closed, there were noises coming from the surroundings. "Son, don't gamble anymore. What else can I do? I don't have any mystic powers now." "Big brother, talk to your brother." "Big brother, aren't you pouring night incense for those big families? What right do you have to talk to me?" "Sigh." "Mother, hand over the money." Just as everyone was arguing, Inks now walked in, her body trembling. She did not dare to believe her ears. What did she just hear? Second brother, big brother, third sister. They looked around and saw that whether it was the clothes or the treasures on them, they were all top grade. The second son of the Mo family, Mo Ming, walked forward. He cupped his hands at Jiyu and said, "Brother Duan, I didn't expect you to come less than half a month after I sent the letter. Brother-in-law Duan, do you have any gold coins?" Jiyu smiled faintly and cupped his hands. "I'm not from the Duan family." "Then you are." "I'm Jiyu." The two brothers looked at each other. They had never heard of this name. Mo Ming asked, "Little sister, why are you back? Why didn't you stay in the Duan family?" "Second brother, I am not married." "What?" With a clang, the sound of something shattering could be heard. Old Madame Duan walked over with a look of shock on her face. "You said you're not married, right?" "Yes." Inksnow's answer made the Mo family lose their last hope. "Heavens, how did I raise a daughter like you?" Old father Mo walked out of the room. "It's fine if you're not married. I didn't agree to this marriage either. If it wasn't for the family head's request, I would have canceled this marriage." Family head Mo, little friend Jiyu greeted old father Mo. Second brother Mo asked, "No matter what, little sister, do you have any gold coins?" Inks now took out a bag. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew and the bag landed in Jiyu's hands. "There are many gold coins in here. This is a gift for Uncle Mo. I hope these gold coins can help you make a comeback." Uncle Mo chuckled. "Little friend, you are too polite. Although these gold coins are good, it is not something our family can enjoy. Kinshio Lane has already taken all the wealth of the Mo family. If it wasn't for my good luck and not being from the main family, I would have died under the butcher knife of Kinshio Lane." Jiyu and the others fell silent. Suddenly Uncle Mo said, Come. I will treat you to a meal." The servants placed the dishes on the table. A chicken and a few pots of vegetables were already the best dishes they had. Jiyu said calmly, "Even if the Mo family has declined, this is not all, right? Little friend Ji, you don't know. Ever since we lost the main family, I became the only hope of the entire Mo family. Many of the Mo family's descendants went out to make a living, but we still, Uncle Mo didn't seem to want to talk about this sad matter. Thus, he asked about the relationship between the two. Jiyu said, she is my disciple. However, Uncle Mo saw something different in the way Inks now looked at Jiyu. However, he couldn't say it out loud. Otherwise, Jiyu wouldn't know what kind of problems would arise. Chapter 551. Second young master Emo thought to himself, "My sister is so beautiful. There's no way Ji wouldn't like her. Ji Gongzi is young and promising. I'm sure you're not married yet, right? Indeed. I wonder if Ji Gongzi is interested in becoming a couple with my sister." Ji snorted coldly. "Do you have any sense of shame?" Second young master Emo chuckled. "As long as they're gold coins, what does it matter now?" Ji turned around and took out another bag of gold coins from his bosom. Seeing the gold coins, second young master Emo swallowed a mouthful of saliva. "Do you want it?" "Yes. From tomorrow onwards, you'll follow me for a month, and these gold coins will be yours." Second young master Emo agreed immediately. First young master Emo and old master Emo looked at each other. The next morning, Ji pulled second young master Emo out of the mansion. Many beggars passing by looked in Ji's direction. If not for Ji's display of strength yesterday, these beggars would have rushed up to her. Second young master Emo took out a pile of food from behind him and placed it on the table. Ji said loudly, "Everyone, if you're interested, please come over. As long as you sign this contract, you'll never have to worry about food in the future." In this regard, Ji did not hold back. All of them had to sign a contract as servants. Moreover, it was not just their generation, but even their descendants would be reduced to servants forever. But this way, they would be able to get food. Many of them thought about it for a while and signed the contract. Satisfied, Ji took the indenture and returned to the manor. She had the servants change the clothes of the servants and gave them a sumptuous meal. Then, she brought them to the market. Seeing such a noble young master, the eyes of all the merchants were about to fall out of their sockets. Ji took out one of the medicine bottles. "I wonder how many gold coins these pills can be sold for." 10 gold coins, 100 gold coins. Don't bully those who don't know the ropes. 200 gold coins. Ji chuckled and revealed her identity as an alchemist. Everyone present was stunned. He didn't expect that there would be such a young alchemist. This world was too crazy. Ji said indifferently, 3,000 gold coins. A fat man stepped forward and said to Ji, "This is a small border town. We gave you 200 gold coins because you're an alchemist, but you don't know what's good for you and actually dared to ask for 3,000 gold coins." The fatty clapped his hands. Immediately, more than 20 black-robed figures, whose faces could not be seen clearly, charged towards Ji. The surrounding shop owners knew that there was going to be a good show, but they didn't intend to interfere. Instead, they hid at the side and waited for the show. Ji retreated and dodged the sneak attacks of several black figures in front of her. He turned around and dodged the sword. He randomly caught 2 black-robed monsters. He fell heavily to the ground. Immediately, the black-robed monsters were smashed into pieces. Ji was about to use her Xian energy when she thought of something fun. With a thought, countless pieces of wood floated up. Ji took out a heart made of wood from his chest. A loud crack was heard. Everyone's eyes were attracted to the monster in front of Ji. God, this kid actually made a puppet in the air. Chapter 552. Ding! The host has created the 7-legged puppet and gained 999 times the experience. The puppet in the air. It gradually curled up into a ball and turned into a small ball. The fat shopkeeper snorted, "Boy, don't be too arrogant. Do you think a ball-shaped puppet can kill us?" After saying that, Zhang Wuji nodded. The ball in the air opened up instantly and turned into a 7-legged centipede. The 7-legged centipede's countless tentacles turned into scythes. The shopkeeper pushed a servant next to him forward. The 7-legged centipede bit his head. A blood-curdling scream was heard. The 7-legged centipede fell to the ground, and the servant turned into a pool of blood. The shopkeeper looked at Ji in front of him with a trembling body. "Go, don't show mercy." Puppet. Wolf demon. A black-robed man walked forward. The black-robed monsters Ji saw just now were all controlled by him. Ji's mental strength spread out and shrouded the man. The black-robed man had a glittering badge on his chest, showing that he was a first-grade puppet master. He waved his hands, and those black-robed monsters came to him one after another. A strange wind blew. The hood on his head was blown down. These monsters were all in the shape of a wolf head and a human body. A wolf demon with one finger. It seems that little brother Wong is about to become a second-grade puppet master. A few people in the restaurant stood in front of the fence. They looked at the scene of the battle. An old man smiled. But I'm curious about that young man. He can actually create a second-grade, seven-legged centipede. Second elder, now let's see if this young man is a second-grade puppet master. On the battlefield, Jiyu pulled the dark force silk in her hand. The seven-legged centipede turned its head and waved the scythe in its hand again. 7 or 8 wolf demon puppets rushed up at the same time. The small puppet unexpectedly broke out a huge bite force and bit the seven-legged centipede. The centipede dropped a few pieces of wood with a crack. He waved his hands quickly. The seven-legged centipede wriggled its body, turned around, and flew toward Jiyu at high speed. The Grade 1 puppet master revealed a smile on his face. You didn't expect this, did you? I've already mastered the skill to control other people's puppets. Now, accept your puppet's backlash. Jiyu also quickly controlled the threads of profound energy. The seven-legged centipede quickly twisted its body and arrived in front of Jiyu. Suddenly, it stopped in midair. Then, he turned his body and turned around. Just at this moment, the profound energy thread in Jiyu's hand tangled with the opponent's profound energy thread. Jiyu's profound energy actually turned into a long snake and coiled around the opponent's profound energy thread. He pulled it back heavily. After being pulled by Jiyu, the wolf demon puppets all stopped in midair. Following which, the wolf demon puppets arrived in front of Jiyu. They were like well-behaved children. Jiyu waved her hand heavily, and those wolf demons rushed forward. Several wolf demons attacked at the same time. The Grade 1 puppet master widened his eyes. He never expected that Jiyu's profound energy was so strong. He was afraid that Jiyu's strength had reached the Grade 2 puppet master. He said heavily, I lost, after shouting this sentence with a trembling voice. The Grade 1 puppet master pulled away from Jiyu. He said, I surrender. The fat boss said, You betrayed me. Brotherly, the gold coins you gave me are not enough to kill me. Bosley clenched his fists and looked in the direction of Jiyu. Hey boy, do you dare to wait here for a while? I'll make you obedient when my servants come back. Jiyu snorted coldly. Since you've said so much, do you think I can let you leave? Bosley quickly took a few steps forward. The shop owners beside him were all stunned. He never expected that Jiyu would dare to kill people in broad daylight. At this moment, a group of soldiers walked out of the city with a small flag in their hands. The leading general muttered something under his breath. The flag suddenly flew into the air and a golden light flashed. The golden light shone into the sky. The seven-legged centipede and the wolf demon puppets suddenly fell to the ground. The profound energy thread disappeared in an instant. Profound energy wall. Jiyu immediately recognized what the general used. It was the profound energy wall, which could block all profound energy below the 3rd grade of the spirit profound realm. He waved his hand, and the puppets in front of him stood up one by one and walked in front of him. When Jiyu waved her hand, those puppets immediately disappeared. The general was very shocked. He never expected that Jiyu could ignore his profound energy wall. Jiyu took a few steps forward. Today, the MO family has returned to this market. If anyone is not convinced, you could discuss it with me. Just now, Jiyu had forcefully defeated the 1st grade puppet and even made it betray its contract with its patron. Who would dare to go against Jiyu? This young master is young and promising. May I know your name? Jiyu. Hearing Jiyu's name, everyone was happy. So, it's Ji Gongzi. Ji Gongzi is really young and promising. This market welcomes you. They were all very excited and immediately bent over. Second young master Mo did not expect that Jiyu would be so powerful. He patted his chest and said to Jiyu, Ji Gongzi, from today onwards, I will help you take care of this place. Second young master Mo, those businesses are not for me to take care of, but for your MO family. I will not allow my disciple to be bullied. Bullied? After hearing this, second young master Mo said happily, "Thank you, Ji Gongzi. But what about you and my little sister? We are only master and disciple." Second young master Mo thought to himself. He never expected that Ji would like to play this kind of game. However, at this moment, the general walked up. The Mo family was originally a part of Skyborder City, but now it has declined. It is a pity, but this is not a reason for you to destroy the security of Skyborder City. Ji laughed. Why didn't you appear when he wanted to kill me? After hearing this, the general took a deep breath. However, Ji was really too powerful just now. She could actually ignore the profound energy wall. This is the only time Ji Gongzi will take his leave. The general led his elite soldiers and left. Second young master Mo shouted, "Leave later. My Ji Gongzi will break your legs." Chapter 553. After tasting the delicious food, the servants who were hired from the beggars completely fell in love with this kind of life. Their hands and feet were extremely diligent. In less than an afternoon, the shops on the streets were all open. Countless people were eagerly waiting to see what Jiu's shop was selling. What? A third-grade elixir? Oh my God, there's even a third-grade treasure. The Mo family is going to rise again. Who is that young master? He's so handsome. He must be the savior of the Mo family, right? He's so handsome. I want to marry him. You're thinking too much. Just as the shop was in full swing, a few carriages stopped in front of the shop. The people in the carriages jumped down. At this moment, they raised their heads and looked in the direction of Jiu. A young girl said lightly, "That's him. That's right. Third Mississippi. He's the person the Mo family invited." The young girl walked down with the crowd surrounding her. She wore a long green robe. She walked in front of Jiu and said, "I'm by Shangling from Tianxiu Lane. Greetings, young master." Tianxiu Lane? Jiu frowned. Second young master, Mo, was furious. He said to Jiu, "Ji Gongzi, they're the ones who stole our family business. Isn't that the second young master of the Mo family? You can't control your own family business. It's reasonable for it to fall into the hands of others." Jiu smiled and said, "Stealing other people's family business and killing other people's servants. Is that reasonable?" Bai Shangling covered her mouth and laughed. "We didn't kill their family members. We just bought their family business." Second young master Mo was enraged by their twisted logic. Bai Shangling said, "Ji Gongzi is powerful. Naturally, he has the right to make a comeback for the Mo family. Young master Mo, if you've done anything wrong in the past, I apologize to you again. In 3 days, the Bai family will be hosting a banquet for all the merchants. Ji Gongzi, please don't refuse." Jiu glanced at second young master Mo. Second young master Mo said disdainfully, "Boss Ji, don't tell me you're going to agree with her?" Jiu said lightly, "It won't hurt if we go and have a look." After saying that, Jiu took the invitation card and came down. After returning to the Mo clan, Jiu said to them, "I think the Tianxiu Lane might not be the ones who ambushed the Mo clan." Old Master Mo pondered for a moment. "That's true. Tianxiu Lane has always considered themselves to be on the side of justice. Why would they commit such a murderous act?" Young Master Mo said, "Father, have you forgotten how the steward's child died?" Jiu said faintly, "I'll investigate this matter the day after tomorrow." Old Master Mo raised his wine glass and said to Jiu sternly, "Ji Gongzi, if you can find out who killed my Mo family, from today onwards, my Mo family will obey your every command." Young Master Mo and second young master Mo stood up at the same time. They cupped their hands and said to Jiu, "Ji Gongzi, we are willing to obey your every command." Jiu said lightly, "You're too polite." The next day, Jiu prepared to refine a pill for old Master Mo to try and recover his Xian energy. However, this herb was not found in the entire Skyborder City. After informing the Mo family, she left Skyborder City. In the desert, there was a legendary scorpion grass. The scorpion grass was a heavenly treasure and must be extremely dangerous. Inks now wanted to follow Ji, no matter what. The moment Xiaogu arrived at the Mo family, she fell into a deep sleep. Ji could feel a huge surge of Xian energy in her body. Was she going to break through again? As expected, it was the Calamity Bone Dragon. Its grade was actually increasing at such a godly speed. Both Ji and Inks now came to the middle of the desert. Huangsha immediately roared at this moment. The surrounding people on the horse immediately shouted, "Quick, retreat! The god is angry. Quick, run! The god is angry." At this moment, the surrounding sky changed. Ji and Inks now were both swallowed by the Huangsha. After the Huangsha disappeared, Ji and Inks now appeared in an oasis. A huge spider appeared in the oasis. The spider was 8 feet tall. It moved as fast as lightning. Inks now, who was beside him, said, "Is this the god they were talking about?" A few surviving members of the caravan said anxiously, "Brother, this is the god." That's right. Every year, we have to offer our virgin boys and girls to the god. The god is protecting our trade routes. Ji snorted coldly. "This is just your fear of demonic beasts." He looked around and saw something that was bound by a white spider web. It looked like a human being was tied up in the sky. Ji transformed her aura into a small knife and swung it. One of the white spider webs fell to the ground. A young girl fell out of the spider web. The person beside him said, "Do you know that when the god is angry, none of us can escape?" As they spoke, they pulled their horses up and looked at each other. It was as if they wanted to push Ji out. Before they could do anything, Ji took the initiative and kicked them in the direction of the spider. A blood-curdling scream rang out. The few of them fell into the deep cave. However, at this moment, one of the spiders crawled toward Ji. It was as if Ji and Inks now were the most delicious things in the world. Ji threw a punch forward. A small layer of aura appeared on the demonic spider's body. Their mystic energies collided together. Suddenly, the aura seemed to vibrate. But this time, it had completely enraged the monstrous spider. It spread its legs in front of its body and roared. At this moment, countless poisonous stingers shot out. They were coming toward Ji. Ji took a step to the side and blocked the poisonous stingers behind her. Boom! Another loud sound was heard. Inks now shouted anxiously, "Be careful!" At this moment, a poisonous stinger was quickly stabbing toward Ji's direction. Ji's feet moved like the wind, and she leaped up. However, at this moment, Inksnow's figure appeared in front of Ji and blocked that attack for Ji. Ji's eyes widened. Instantly, anger surged out of his body. "You deserve to die," he said solemnly. In an instant, Ji's mind moved. The demonic wolf and the 7-legged centipede flew into the air. He waved his hands, and the demonic wolf crazily climbed onto the demonic spider's body. He roared and screamed in agony. It roared toward the sky. It was as if thunder had boomed in the air. The spider shattered in an instant. Inksnow's aura was very weak. Ji took out a small jade screen and scattered the powder on her body. Chapter 554. Inksnow's clothes were soaked in blood. Ji had no choice but to take off a corner of her clothes. After applying medicine, she regained some energy. She saw her clothes being taken off. Inks now curled up. "Master!" Ji patted her little head. "Don't worry. I didn't see anything." "Okay." Inks now nodded. Ji stood up and walked behind the spider. As expected, demon beasts were guarding natural treasures. A lotus flower gradually bloomed on its own face. Ji reached out and plucked the lotus flower in front of him. He walked in front of Inks now and carried her on his back. Then, he took a step forward. Ding! Host has used 3,000 clouds movement. 3,000 clouds movement has gained 999 times experience. After leaving the oasis, endless yellow sand was blown up around them. Ji thought for a while. Now that he couldn't identify the direction, he could only carry Inks now and walk in the desert. Under the effect of the elixir, Inks now quickly regained consciousness. In a daze, she said softly, "Master, master, I'm here, Ji said gently. Master's back is so warm. Ji said calmly. Rest well for a while. After Inksnow had completely recovered, Ji prepared a delicious meal. Fortunately, Ji usually kept a lot of food in his storage ring. Inksnow's appetite was instantly aroused. She swept everything in front of her clean. Ji carried Inksnow again and used 3,000 clouds movement. Even at a long distance, with the 3,000 clouds movement's ability to shrink 1,000 miles. In the blink of an eye, the two of them walked out of the desert of death. Along the way, Ji also found the caravan that wanted to escape. It seemed that they could escape from the giant spider, but they couldn't escape from the desert. The general of Skyborder City led the army and prepared to enter the desert to search for the caravan. A few of the deputy generals said, "In my opinion, we just need to search in the shallow parts of the desert. Yes, we just need to search the surroundings. I don't think anyone in the caravan is still alive." The general said solemnly, "We should lead the troops and rescue everyone." The deputy generals' hearts skipped a beat, thinking to themselves, "Isn't this guy sending us to our deaths?" When they thought of this, the deputy generals unwillingly wanted to leave. However, at this moment, Ji slowly walked out. Everyone looked at Ji and Inksnow. The general looked at the two of them in surprise. He walked over. "Are you that brat from yesterday?" "That's me." "How could he walk out of the desert?" "How did you get out of the desert?" Ji smiled faintly. "Just like that, we came out. In order to prevent people from getting lost in there in the future, this one has already drawn a map of the situation inside." After saying this, Ji took out the thing in her hand and put it in the other party's hand. Receiving the scroll in his hand, he was somewhat overjoyed. "If that's the case, then many thanks, young master." Ji brought Inksnow back to the MO Manor. They didn't come back in 2 days, so everyone started to worry. "We should send people to look for Big Brother G." "That's right. If Big Brother G is missing, we don't know how to continue the business." Everyone began to discuss the matter. Inksnow rushed in excitedly. The MO family's servant shouted happily, "Young Miss is back! Young Miss is back!" First young Master MO, second young Master MO, and the others all came in front of Inksnow. "Where's Ji? Little sister, you and Ji Gongzi went out for 2 days. Where did you go?" Old Master MO stroked his beard. "Is Ji Gongzi outside?" Ji slowly walked out and walked into the manor. Old Master MO immediately became excited when he saw Ji. He held Ji's hand and said calmly to Ji, "Ji Gongzi, did you get the devil grass?" Ji didn't keep him in suspense and took out a small stalk of grass. Looking at the small blade of grass in Ji's hand that looked like a snake, he gently stroked it. "This is the legendary devil grass." That's right. Tears slowly flowed out of old Master Mo's eyes. Ever since their MO family's experts were all dead, and their male MO family Xianqi was crippled, the entire family was firmly suppressed. Ji said calmly, "We can start now." Old Master MO thought for a moment. "Ji Gongzi, may I know what grade of pill you'll refine?" Ji stretched out 4 fingers. Old Master MO immediately said, "Although our MO family is in trouble now, I've always hidden the secret room." After saying this, he stretched out his hand. He said to Ji calmly, "That's our secret room. Ji Gongzi, please follow me." He brought Ji to the front of the secret room. Ji touched the stone wall in front of her, and the stone wall quickly moved. The rockery started to move slowly. A long stone staircase appeared in front of everyone. Ji led Old Master MO into the passage. He sat on a stone. The pill furnace instantly appeared in the secret room. Young Master MO and second young Master MO didn't know the goods, but they knew that this pill furnace was a good thing. But Old Master Mo was very clear about the power of the pill furnace in Ji's hand. Could this be the Xian Hong pill furnace? This is a 5th grade pill furnace. Except for Kirin of the Kanglan Empire, I have never seen anyone use this kind of high-grade pill furnace. With a thought, Ji picked up the medicinal ingredients in her hand and threw them into the pill furnace. The fire in the furnace immediately burned. Ji took out a small jade screen and released the purple flame in the jade screen. At this moment, the purple flame gradually merged into the pill furnace. In an instant, the pill furnace's flame gradually turned from its original color to purple. Jiyu poured her Xian energy into it. Under the support of the Xian energy, the pill gradually took shape. Old Master Mo said, even a fifth-grade alchemist would need half a month to refine a fifth-grade pill. Eldest and second young master, bring in some nutrients every day and put them into Ji Gongzi's mouth. Do you understand? Understood. Yes, father. The two young masters of the Mo family responded at the same time. However, at this moment, the pill furnace suddenly shook violently. The Xian energy in the surroundings shook violently at this moment. At this moment, the Xian energy was gradually being poured into the fifth-grade pill in front of them. The two young masters of the Mo family stood up one after another. Looking in the direction of Jiyu, they only saw Jiyu waving her hands, and a strong Xian energy was rapidly gathering. Old Master Mo's eyes widened. His entire body began to tremble. Oh heavens! Oh heavens, could this be the legendary fifth-rank medicinal pill? If it is really as Ji Gongzi said, it can restore our Xian energy, then it must be a fifth-grade pill. However, how rare was a fifth-grade pill in this world? Even so, it couldn't possibly take shape in such a short period of time, right? Xiao Gu, who was sleeping in the room, suddenly sat up on the bed. In her eyes, this kind of top-grade pill was the best tonic. Just like her, she felt the birth of a top-grade pill. And the three sacred beasts in Tianxiu Lane. These three sacred beasts had always been regarded as the guardian beasts of Tianxiu Lane. It was said that 10,000 years ago, the ancestor of Tianxiu Lane had subdued the three sacred beasts. After experiencing the secular world, the ancestor of Tianxiu Lane led the elites of the sect to live in seclusion in the mountains. Regardless of whether Tianxiu Lane reached the peak or became a small clan in a small border city, the three sacred beasts had always been its guardians. It was precisely because of the existence of these guardians. Thus, even when Tianxiu Lane was at its weakest, it had not been wiped out. The three sacred beasts actually looked in Jiyu's direction at the same time. The servant of Tianxiu Lane hurriedly reported to the patriarch. Report. What's the matter? Patriarch. The three sacred beasts have acted strangely at the same time. How should we deal with this? Three sacred beasts have acted strangely at the same time. The patriarch of Tianxiu Lane, Bai Wu, stood up. Could it be that a treasure is about to appear? However, right at this moment, Tianxiu Lane began to shake violently. A mountain range shook violently as a firebird broke out of the prison and flew towards the Missouri estate. The general of the city guards cursed inwardly. The fact that there were sacred beasts hidden in Tianxiu Lane was only known to the generations of city lords and the chief general of the city lord's estate. The city lord walked in. Tianqi, this general is here. The sacred beasts of Tianxiu Lane have acted. This is not something we can contend against. Put away the wall of profound energy. City lord, what if chaos breaks out in the city? We can't care so much. This general is willing to bet that the sacred beasts won't cause trouble. Good. This estate is betting our future on you. The firebird arrived in the sky above the Missouri estate. The servants of the Missouri estate all fled in panic. First young Master Mo and second young Master Mo stood guard in front of old Master Mo and Jiyu with swords in their hands. The divine beast's aura was so oppressive that everyone present couldn't breathe. However, the firebird did not immediately descend to steal Jiyu's pills. A ball of fire appeared in its throat, as if it was preparing something. Jiyu stood up and waved at the people in front of him. Suddenly, a ball of fire appeared in the sky. The pill furnace exploded with a boom. The pill shot directly into the sky. It seemed to want to escape. The firebird immediately chased after the pills. Jiyu quickly stepped out from the ground. Xiao Gu's figure also appeared in the sky. Xiao Gu. Xiao Gu did not have any reaction. Oh no, Jiyu forgot that Xiao Gu's true form was also a demonic beast. When the firebird saw Xiao Gu, its eyes also sharpened. A ball of fire spurted out from its throat. The ball of fire burned in the sky, as if the surrounding air had been sucked away. A few sparks fell to the ground, directly burning everything on the ground. Chapter 555. The most terrifying thing was that the sparks could actually burn the ground. Even Ji-Yu's brows furrowed slightly. He could not resist such a powerful flame. Xiaogu grew a pair of bone wings on her back. With a flap of her wings, a gust of wind blew. Like a scythe, the wind rushed towards her. A hint of jealousy appeared in the firebird's eyes when she saw how nimble Xiaogu was. Because Xiaogu was in human form, she was extremely nimble. The Xian energy in her hand reached its peak in an instant. Then, she punched the firebird's head heavily. The firebird let out a mournful cry. However, the flames enveloping her body gradually moved towards Xiaogu's arm. A raging fire immediately ignited on her arm. Xiaogu seemed to be very afraid of these flames. She shook her hand and saw that the flames were not extinguished. She immediately felt a strange anger in her heart. Bai Wu brought the Tongxian realm experts of the clan to the Mo residence. They did not dare to get close to the battle between the two divine beasts. The members of the Puppet Alliance also came to the Mo residence. The rank 3 puppet master, Elderly, was also dumbfounded when he saw this battle. However, he thought that it would be great if he could refine these two divine beasts into puppets. Tianqi led the army and brought the surrounding commoners to the north of the city. Then, he sealed the surroundings. The flames in Xiaogu's hand could not be extinguished. With a thought, a precious weapon appeared in Ji-Yu's hand. She swung her sword forward. With a flash of Xian energy, the flames in Xiaogu's hand were immediately extinguished by the sword. Ji-Yu said, "Xiaogu, pull me up." Xiaogu immediately understood. She quickly descended and pulled Ji-Yu's body. The two of them appeared in the air at the same time. After being burned by the flames, Xiaogu felt that her vitality was greatly damaged. Now, she was leaning into Ji-Yu's embrace. She swung the precious weapon in her hand heavily. Countless streams of Xian energy descended at the same time. The firebird roared at the sky. The fireballs fell like raindrops, heavily hitting the ground. The sea of fire immediately flooded the entire Mo residence like an ocean. Fortunately, Mo Shui had brought the people of the Mo family to the Mo clan. The firebird chirped as if it was trying to provoke Ji-Yu. Ji-Yu's current profound strength was not much stronger than the firebird's, and even Xiaogu was not the firebird's match. However, Ji-Yu saw the imprint of a formation on the firebird's feet. The rope of the soul suddenly shook violently. The voice of the remnant soul rang out from the spirit rope. "Little friend Ji, attack its formation. This old man naturally has a way to collect it." Ji said calmly to Xiaogu, "Fly to its feet." Xiaogu obediently hummed in agreement. He brought Ji and flew to the firebird's feet. Then, Ji swung her precious weapon. When it came into contact with the firebird's feet, a ray of light suddenly lit up. In front of these layers of light, suddenly, the shadow of the remnant's soul flew out. When the firebird saw the shadow of the remnant's soul, its eyes widened, as if it wanted to turn around and flee. However, the shadow of the remnant's soul revealed a smile. It stretched out its hand, and the firebird immediately seemed to be trapped in the air. Then, the shadow of the remnant's soul disappeared. Ding! The host has obtained the Inferno battle suit. Ji felt the firebird take up residence in her dantian. With a thought, a thin layer of the Inferno battle suit appeared on Ji-Yu's body. Her entire body seemed to be wrapped in flames. Xiaogu looked at Ji-Yu with a trace of fear in its eyes. Ding! The host used the Inferno battle suit. Experience gained, won by 999. Ji-Yu suddenly stretched out her hand. Immediately, the pill that was originally trying to escape in the air appeared in Ji-Yu's hands. Seeing Ji-Yu obtain the pill, Tianxiu Lane's master, Bai Wu, Skyborder City's General Tianqi, and the Puppet Union's third elder all appeared in front of Ji-Yu. The third elder chuckled and cupped his hands. Congratulations, little friend G. You're really strong. You can actually refine a 5th-grade pill. Ji nodded. Thank you. Tianqi cupped his hands and said, What is the use of this pill? If you don't mind, I'm willing to buy it at a high price. Tianqi's eyes were filled with desire. If it weren't for the fact that the firebird of Tianqiu Lane had been mysteriously snatched by Ji Yu, he would have already snatched it. I have my own use for this pill. Tianqi felt a little regretful. He cupped his hands and said, If you have any other ideas in the future, I'm willing to buy it at a high price. Farewell. However, just as the two were about to leave, Bai Wu said, Little friend Ji, may I ask where my old ancestor is now? Your old ancestor said that we were fated to meet, so he won't be going back for the time being. Bai Wu gritted his teeth. Ji was clearly robbing him. Then, may I ask if my old ancestor instructed you to give this 5th-grade pill to me? He was thinking that if Ji Yu obediently handed over the pill, it would be fine. Otherwise, Ji Yu naturally saw through his thoughts. I heard that the Bai clan has 3 beautiful young ladies. Coincidentally, the Mo clan also has 2 handsome young men. I'm willing to be the matchmaker. I am Mo Shui's master. If your young lady marries my disciple's 2 older brothers, then we can be considered a family. I'll give you the pill in the future. Bai Wu was furious. Ji Yu stole his Array clan's divine beast. It was bad enough that she wanted the Mo clan's 2 good-for-nothings to take away his 2 precious daughters. That was simply wishful thinking. Brat, you've insulted me too much. Mystic skill, heaven, burning earth, fire. Bai Wu's hands emitted 2 balls of raging flames and slapped them on the ground. Suddenly, 2 rows of flames burst out from the ground. Like a long snake, they rushed towards Ji Yu. Even Tianqi and the 3rd elder felt their hearts skip a beat. Immediately, the protective Qi aura enveloped his body. The remaining power of the flames hit their auras. The 2 people beside them shouted in their hearts. The 3rd elder and Tianqi quickly retreated a few hundred meters before extinguishing the flames on their auras. Otherwise, the flames would completely destroy their auras. What a terrifying mystic skill. A Tongxian expert can actually use such a mystic skill. Tianqi said, Ji Gongzi, be careful. Ji nodded. The flames came to Ji Yu's body and were suddenly absorbed by the raging flame battle armor. He felt that his sky splitter was loosening. His hand changed. The blue streak sword appeared in his hand. What? For levels of low-grade artifact? How many more treasures does this brat have? Ji Yu appeared in front of Bai Wu in a flash. However, at this moment, Bai Shangling arrived and shouted, Ji Gongzi, please wait. Only then did Ji Yu stop. However, Bai Wu had been injured by the blazing armor's residual power. Now his face was full of pain. Ji Yu waved her hand, and the raging flame battle armor was absorbed into her body. Bai Shangling bent down to look at her father. Father, are you okay? Ji Yu took out a small bottle of medicine and threw it into Bai Shangling's hand. He didn't know why he did this. However, looking at her pitiful appearance, Ji Yu's heart softened. After taking Ji Yu's pill, Bai Wu's complexion improved. Bai Wu looked at Ji Yu and didn't say anything. He just turned around and left. Bai Shangling walked in front of Ji Yu and half knelt down. She naturally knew how terrifying Ji Yu's strength was. It was already rare for her to let her father go. Ji Gongzi, please forgive my father. Ji Yu nodded. Only then did Bai Shangling relax. Otherwise, she was really afraid that Ji Yu would do something. Ji Gongzi, please don't forget about tomorrow's appointment. Ji Yu nodded. Second young master Mo walked up. Ji Gongzi, look at our Mo clan. The raging flame battle armor on Ji Yu's body flashed. In an instant, the flames danced on Ji Yu's body. The Mo clan turned into ruins. Ji Yu said calmly, take some gold coins from the shop and buy a new address. Second young master Mo worshipped Ji Yu. He whispered, Ji Gongzi, are you treating Miss Bai well? Ji Yu said calmly, I just don't want to be so ruthless. Second young master Mo smiled. Naturally, he thought of Ji Yu's idea. It seemed that Ji Gongzi didn't like to use violence. The mansion was quickly bought. Now that the Mo clan had Ji Yu, Their reputation was like the sun in the sky. The person who sold the mansion naturally wanted to establish a relationship with Jiyu. Even the furniture in the mansion was properly arranged. Jiyu brought Old Master Mo into the basement of the mansion. He took out the 5th-grade medicinal pill. Looking at the 5th-grade pill in Jiyu's hand, Old Master Mo swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He never thought that Jiyu would give this pill to him. When he thought of this, he became incomparably excited. He said to Jiyu in front of him, "Little friend Jiyu, is it really okay to give this pill to this old man?" Jiyu said calmly, "If I can refine one pill, then I can naturally refine two." After Old Master Mo ate the pill, his entire body underwent a drastic change. The profound energy in his body rose rapidly. He didn't dare to believe that he had the ability to break through. It seemed like he was about to break through to the spirit profound realm. At this moment, Old Master Mo's essence, energy, and spirit gradually merged into one. He stood up with a swoosh. The surrounding stones exploded violently. He looked at Jiyu excitedly. "Thank you, little friend Jiyu." Following the recovery of Old Master Mo's profound energy, first young Master Mo and second young Master Mo's bloodline seemed to have changed. The two of them simultaneously felt the profound energy that had not returned for a long time. The devil grass that Jiyu added was infused with the bloodline of a 5th-grade demonic beast. Naturally, it could bring about changes in the Mo clan's bloodline. Chapter 556. The Mo family's eldest young master and second young master felt the profound energy in their bodies. After looking at each other for a while, the two of them used their own profound skills and fought for a while. They shouted excitedly and went to the basement. "Father, the profound energy in our bodies has recovered. Father, I'm finally not a cripple anymore." Seeing the two brothers so excited, the profound energy in Old Master Mo's body suddenly surged. When the two brothers saw that Old Master Mo had broken through to the spirit profound realm, a trace of surprise appeared on their faces. "Congratulations, Father, for breaking through to the spirit profound realm." "Congratulations, Father." The two brothers were also very excited. In order to celebrate Old Master Mo's breakthrough to the spirit profound realm, he set up a big banquet in the mansion. Many people in the city who would not have come originally also came to participate in the banquet. Even the city lord had no choice but to come personally. Old Master Mo was very excited. When Baiwu received this news, he sighed. It seemed that their Tianxiu Lane's rule in Skyborder City had come to an end. The next morning, the Bai family's banquet was held as usual. Jiyu personally came to the Bai family. Bai Shangling personally waited at the door. After welcoming Jiyu, she held Jiyu's hand and walked into the mansion. Tianxiu Lane's banquet today invited several powers from the surrounding cities. The daughters of the Bai family were naturally outstanding beauties, especially Bai Shangling, who was the absolute beauty of Tianxiu Lane. Many young masters from various powers came for Bai Shangling. Now that they saw Bai Shangling holding Jiyu's hand, how could they not be angry? One of them stood up and walked in front of Jiyu. "Greetings, Miss Bai." "Greetings, young Master Mo." He glanced at Jiyu. "May I know who this young master is?" "This one is Jiyu." "This one is Emoja." Emoja used his divine sense to scan Jiyu's body. He could not feel the profound energy in Jiyu's body. Thus, he coldly snorted. "Ji Gongzi is too polite. Miss Bai is wearing a long dress today, so it must be inconvenient for her to walk. Please allow this humble one to support you." After saying this, he took a step forward. However, he did not expect that at this moment, Ji would grab Bai Shangling's hand. Bai Shangling's face reddened. Thinking of Ji Yu's powerful ability yesterday, she didn't dare to resist. Moza was a little angry. "Ji Gongzi is too frivolous." Ji Yu smiled and asked Bai Shangling, "Do you mind?" Bai Shangling shook his head. "Of course I don't mind." Moza's face suddenly turned green and red. Ji Yu led Bai Shangling into the main hall. If looks could kill, Ji would have been hacked to pieces. Bai Wu came to the main seat. Among the people who came today, there were spirit profound realm experts. He wanted those spirit profound realm experts to deal with Ji. He said to everyone, "Today, I have invited everyone here to discuss the matter of our Bai family's 3 daughters. I have decided to marry my eldest and second daughter to the Mo family's first and second young masters." When everyone heard this news, they felt a little regretful. However, their target was Bai Shangling. As for my youngest daughter, she will be betrothed to Ji Yu and Ji Gongzi. What? What does this brat have? We can't even feel the profound energy in his body. That's right. What does this brat have? For a moment, voices of resistance rose one after another. Bai Wu smiled. Ji Gongzi is a talent. He is the best choice for our Bai family's son-in-law. If we are talking about talent, Tianzhou City's young Master Huang is the best. He is only 38 years old this year, and he has already reached the peak of the first level of the Spirit Profound Realm. This is very rare in the entire Puppet Empire. That's right. Not to mention the Puppet Empire, even in the 7 great empires, this is very rare. Aside from the Spirit Treasure Empire, who else can be compared to our young Master Huang? Everyone had different opinions. Young Master Huang stood up and clasped his hands towards Ji Yu. I wonder if I'm lucky enough to compete with Ji Gongzi? If you win, I am willing to clasp my hands and congratulate you. If you lose, I hope that young master will not accept this marriage. On this continent, strength was everything. Even marriage was within the control of strength. When Mo Jia saw that someone wanted to challenge Ji Yu, his heart was filled with excitement. He stood up and said, Ji Gongzi must be very powerful to be able to gain Master Bai's favor. I am willing to accompany you. Mo Jia was also a peak of the Tongxian realm, a peak of the first level of the Spirit Profound realm, and a peak of the Tongxian realm. It was obvious that he did not want Ji Yu to go back. When the rest of the people saw this, they all started to cheer. The Puppet Empire's prince had also arrived at the Bai residence. He smiled slightly and said to everyone, "Actually, everyone is interested in Miss Bai, and our Puppet Empire respects strength. How about this? I have a suggestion. Why don't we hold an arena competition, and whoever wins will be able to hug the beauty? What do you think?" When they heard this, everyone shook their heads and agreed. Ji Yu coldly snorted, "If you want to fight, then go ahead. I'm not interested." After Ji Yu finished speaking, Bai Shangling glanced at Ji Yu. It was not because of Ji Yu's strength, but because she was so beautiful. Could it be that she was not worthy of Ji Yu's face? Beauties were all prideful, especially those like Bai Shangling, who was feared by everyone. Mo Jia coldly snorted, "What do you mean by not interested? I think you don't dare." Suddenly, Mo Jia felt his vision turn black. Then, Ji Yu appeared in front of him. She reached out her hand and heavily punched him. Mo Jia did not realize what had happened. However, his body, which was at the peak of the Tongxian realm, sensed the approaching danger. The dark force in his body was released automatically and covered his body. As expected of a peak Tongxian realm elite, he can react so quickly in the face of an unknown danger. But how did Ji Yu do it? She appeared in front of him almost instantly. Gotcha! Just as the proud generation of the aristocratic families were discussing this matter. Suddenly, a cracking sound came from Mo Jia's body. It was obvious that something on his body had been destroyed. Following that, something seemed to have started to fall. What? Mo Jia's Qi shield was destroyed. Logically speaking, even if a Tongxian realm elite's Qi shield was destroyed, it should recover quickly. That's right. What happened? Why is this happening? If that's the case, Mo Jia's Qi shield could not recover after Ji Gongzi's punch. How can his strength be so terrifying? Mo Jia, who supported him, was beaten up. If he did not do anything, he would be embarrassed. Where would he put his face? Thinking of this, young Master Huang's dark force suddenly surged. A terrifying aura came straight for Ji Yu. If it were anyone else, they would have been suffocated by this terrifying aura. But this was Ji Yu. Ji Yu only turned around and looked in his direction. Her face was so calm. Young Master Huang frowned. Mo Zhao wanted to take this opportunity to escape from Ji Yu. The corners of Ji Yu's mouth curled up slightly as she stomped on his foot. Ah! A blood-curdling scream was heard. Young Master Huang said, "You should spare people when possible. Why is Ji Gongzi so cruel?" Ji Yu sneered. "Young Master Huang, that's not what you said just now." Ji Yu could not feel his aura at all. Either that, or she was far stronger than him. But he became a spirit-profound realm expert at the age of 38. There was no other person like him in the Puppet Empire. Moreover, he had never heard of Ji Yu's name before. When he thought of this, he immediately realized that Ji Yu was just an ordinary person. He snorted, "Kid, you're courting death." With that, the demeanor of a modest young master suddenly disappeared, replaced by the look of a proud son of heaven, as if he wanted to trample Ji Yu under his feet. He flew out. Mystic skill, Thousand Wave Fist. The people from the aristocratic families heard young Master Huang use the Thousand Wave Fist. They all cried out in surprise. Thousand Wave Fist? It's the Thousand Wave Fist. Oh my god, this is so rare. Thousand Wave Fist, as the name suggests, one punch, 1,000 punches. Ji Yu is dead meat. He finished his sentence. Indeed, after young Master Huang's fist was blocked by Ji Yu, it turned into 1,000 punches, all aimed at Ji Yu from 360 degrees without any blind spots. He's dead meat. However, at this moment, Ji Yu suddenly opened her eyes. Mystic skill, Inferno Battle Suit. Ding! Host has used Inferno Battle Armor. Inferno Battle Armor has gained 999 times experience. When the Inferno Battle Suit appeared, young Master Huang felt an intense heat spread throughout his body. It was as if his body would burn to ashes in the next moment. He abruptly retreated. He looked at Ji Yu with vigilance. What's wrong with this kid? He thought of this and said indifferently, "Kid, where did you learn this crooked way of cultivation?" When he said this, Ji Yu was completely thrown into the evil cult. Although all the aristocratic families were aristocratic families, they usually considered themselves as righteous sections. That's right, we haven't seen this mystic skill of yours before. It must be a demonic skill. We will unite and destroy this evil. Ji Yu looked at the crowd, filled with righteous indignation, as if she had really done something heinous. These so-called aristocratic families were laughable. He said indifferently, "Ha, trash." "What?" Young Master Huang widened his eyes. "How dare you call me trash?" Ji Yu said indifferently, "Young Master Huang, don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that you're trash. I'm saying that everyone here is trash." When they heard this, everyone stood up in anger. How could Ji Yu say that to them? It was simply unreasonable. Chapter 557. I am Li Bin from the Puppet Fortress. Ji Gongzi. Please enlighten me. Xian. Level 8 Tongxian Realm. Zhang San. First grade Puppet Master. The people from the various aristocratic families reported their names one after another. Then they sent out their own Xian skills. Because they were in the Puppet Empire, most of their mystical skills were related to puppets. The puppets that covered the sun suddenly appeared in the sky. He waved his hand. At this moment, the puppets flew in front of Ji Yu. Seven-legged centipede. Ji Yu swung her hand and threw her puppet out. Ding. Host used seven-legged centipede. Puppet mastery gained experience points, won by 999 times. The puppet landed on the ground and turned into a long snake. It roared at the people in the sky. Young Master Huang stood on the top of the rockery. Everyone, please lend me a hand. Don't worry, young Master Huang. For the sake of justice, we will lend you a hand. They put their hands together. The puppets in the air began to gather in front of young Master Huang. All of a sudden, the puppets gathered together. A white giant puppet that looked like an elf appeared in the Bai family. It was like a ferocious beast. It slapped down heavily in the direction of Ji Yu. It slapped down with a loud boom. Ji Yu's fingertips moved quickly. The seven-legged centipede moved its nimble body and wrapped around the giant's body. Young Master Huang laughed. Kid, it seems that you don't know much about puppets. Giants can't feel pain. The corners of Ji Yu's mouth curled into a smile. Giants can't feel pain, but their joints will be destroyed. After that, Ji Yu waved her hand. The seven-legged centipede's tentacles fell on the giant's body. The giant roared, and the arm on its body suddenly fell to the ground. Ding! Host used seven-legged centipede. Experience points gained, won by 999. Ding! Host learned the skill Light Wave. Profound skill, Light Wave. Ji Yu injected her profound energy into the seven-legged centipede. At this moment, the centipede gathered a ball of purple light in its mouth. All of a sudden, a light wave burst out. It hit the giant. The giant wobbled twice before collapsing onto the ground. Along with the giant's explosion, the drop of blood on the puppet that was connected to its master. There was a direct backlash. The young masters all spat out mouthfuls of blood. Falling to the ground, Ji Yu flew out with her sword in hand. As the sword fell, young Master Huang let out a miserable shriek. Young Master Huang fell to the ground. The people from the aristocratic families were lying on the ground, blood flowing from the corners of their mouths. They looked at Ji Yu, panting. It was as if he could not believe that Ji Yu was so powerful. Ji Yu came in front of Bai Wu. Bai Wu took a step back in fear. Originally, Ji Yu didn't want to make things difficult for Bai Wu. He said calmly, Master Bai, I didn't want to agree to this marriage at first because no one can force me or help me make any decision without knowing me. But now, I want to propose marriage to Master Bai. As soon as she finished speaking, Ji Yu slapped Bai Wu's body. His meridians were all shattered at this moment. There was no hope for him in the Black Tortoise sect. Since you are Bai Shangling's father, I won't kill you. He looked at Bai Shangling, who was standing at the side and looking at Ji Yu in fear. He grabbed her hand. From today onwards, you are mine. Bai Shangling bit Ji Yu's hand. Don't even think about it. He grabbed Bai Shangling and sealed her acupuncture points. Then, he placed her to the side. The rest of the people gritted their teeth and said, Devil, you are the devil. When we get back, we will definitely punish you. Ji Yu smiled. Do you think that you can still go back? At this moment, the servants of the Bai family entered one after another. They held long swords and placed them at his throat. As they were all heavily injured, they had no ability to resist. Just like that, they were all sent to the Mo family. Old Master Mo looked at these young masters who had participated in bullying him and smiled. You all have a day like this. After saying those words, Old Master Mo waved his hand and forced all of the nobles' sons back into the mine. From that day onwards, they would be mining servants. Ji Yu came to the Bai family once again. The servants of the Bai family were just about to scold them when they saw Ji Yu. In their eyes, Ji Yu is now the master of the Bai family. He said to the others, send the two young ladies of the Bai family to the Mo family. The others sighed. They did not expect that the two young ladies of the Bai family, who were usually high and mighty, would now be in the hands of others. Ji Yu came to Bai Shangling's room. Bai Shangling was restrained by Ji Yu's Xian energy and could not move at all. She looked angrily at Ji Yu. Despicable, shameless, and despicable. Ji Yu gently touched Bai Shangling's face. What do you want? Ji Yu looked at her pitiful appearance. His body heated up, and he peeled off a corner of her veil. Tears flowed from Bai Shangling's eyes. Ji Yu immediately lost interest. He said calmly, the Bai family will still exist in the future. However, you will have to rely on the Mo family. Are you willing? Yes. As long as the Bai family could be protected, Bai Shangling was willing to do anything. He gently tapped Bai Shangling's acupuncture points. In order to prevent Ji Yu from humiliating her, a magical weapon appeared in her hand. Ji Yu said, if you die, the Bai family will be destroyed. Only then did Bai Shangling put down the magical weapon. Ji Yu gently stroked her head. He turned around and walked out in the other direction. He walked into the Bai family's secret room. He took a deep breath and raised both his hands. The ancestors of the Bai family had set up layers of traps here. Ji Yu swung his fist heavily. There was a loud rumbling sound. The Xian energy in front of him exploded at this moment. The ancestors of the Bai family did not expect that the layers of traps they had set up would be destroyed by Ji. The thick wall was blasted apart. Ji took a step forward. He walked into the secret room. There was a huge demon dog. There was also a huge green ox that was tied up. When they saw Ji, they actually said, "You are, as the guardian of the Bai family, don't you know anything about what happened in the Bai family? Kid, let me ask you, how is the Bai family now?" Ji's mouth revealed a trace of a smile. At this moment, the rope of spirits shook violently. The remnant soul phantom appeared in the secret room. "It's you. How can you still be alive?" The two giant beasts revealed a shocked expression. Ji thought to himself, the remnant soul phantom's background is indeed not simple. The remnant soul phantom said, "I need you now." He stretched out his hand and grabbed in front of him. Suddenly, the two giant beasts let out a sorrowful cry and turned into two balls of light, flying into Ji's body. "Young friend, with the support of the three sacred beasts, you should have enough resistance against the frozen land. I'll leave the rest to you." After saying this, the remnant soul phantom disappeared again. Ji took a step forward. He said lightly, "Is that so?" "Ding, the host has obtained the Warhound giant sword." "Ding, the host has obtained the giant azure ox body." Although the sky-splitting sword did not make any progress, Ji could feel that he had obtained an endless amount of power. He returned to his room and brought Bai Shangling back to the Mo family. That night, he went to Bai Shangling's room. He blew out the light. The next day, the third elder of the Puppet Guild came to visit. He could not forget the pill that Ji had made last time. After hearing the servant's report, Ji stood up and Bai Shangling covered him with clothes. After Ji left, Bai Shangling looked at the blood on the bedsheet and his face turned red. The third elder looked at Ji and said slowly, "Ji Gongzi, this old man reported to the headquarters that young master could refine level 5 pills. Our guild president wishes to invite you to the capital city for a meeting. What do you think?" Ji placed a wooden box on the table. "I don't know if your guild has this wooden box. This has always been our puppet guild's secret treasure." Ji said calmly, "Thank you, third elder." He placed a level 5 pill in front of the third elder. The third elder smelled the fragrance of the pill and tears flowed down his face. "Ji Gongzi, don't worry. I will definitely help you obtain the secret treasure." Ji smiled. "Third elder, don't worry. I just need to take a look at the secret treasure." "Thank you very much, young master." The next day, the Mo family packed Ji's luggage. Seeing that Ji was about to leave Skyborder City, Inksnow came to Ji. Inksnow said to Ji, "Master, don't go." That night, when she saw Ji enter Bai Shangling's room, she was filled with endless jealousy. She understood her feelings for Ji. "Master, I like you. Do you like Inksnow?" She took a step forward. Ji's heart softened, and she pulled Inksnow into her embrace. Inksnow's heart instantly brightened, and she rushed into Ji's embrace. "Wait for me to come back. I will marry you." After saying that, Inksnow said calmly, "I will wait for you. Take good care of Shangling." "Oomph." Ji held Inksnow's hand and said to her, "You will be sisters in the future. All right then, don't forget about me." He kissed Inksnow gently on the mouth. Seeing the two of them being so intimate, old Master Mo felt very comforted. He brought Xiao Gu and set off again. The carriage shook and the third elder followed closely behind. After a few months, the carriage arrived at the Puppet Empire's capital city. Looking at the countless youths walking into the capital city on the streets, Ji asked, "Is there a grand event in the city?" Chapter 558. When the third elder heard Ji's question, he rode his horse forward. He cupped his hands at Ji and said, "You don't know, but today is the day of the Puppet Union selection. That's why there are so many people here." Ji finally understood. There were many young people gathered in front of the Puppet Union. They came here with dreams. When they saw Ji, the third elder handed his badge to the guard. At this moment, the door slowly opened. The two of them entered the gate at the same time. Seeing that Ji didn't need to wait in line to enter the puppet union, the people in front of the gate started to argue. Why can he go in, but we can't? Yeah, we want to go in too. Seeing that the crowd wasn't convinced, the guard at the gate turned around and said to Ji, Mister, do you have the puppet union badge? Ji said indifferently, I don't have one. You're not even a puppet master. How dare you? Even if you have someone with you, we're not convinced. That's right, go line up. The crowd started to argue, making the guard feel very awkward. He asked, you're the third elder of Skyborder City, right? Even if you're leading, this mister isn't even a puppet master. It's hard for me to let him in. After saying that, he lowered his head. At that moment, the dark force in Jiu's hand suddenly shot out. The seven-legged centipede stretched out in the sky. Seven-legged centipede. It's actually a seven-legged centipede. This is a puppet that no puppet master has ever been able to summon. This young master is really talented, Li Yundong said with a smile. The crowd started to talk. Suddenly, there was a flash of light in the sky. I'm Yi Fan. Mister, please enlighten me. A huge gorilla appeared in the sky and landed on the ground. It beat its chest and tried to grab Jiu's seven-legged centipede. Ji pulled it back. The seven-legged centipede flashed away from the gorilla puppet. Once again, he clung onto the body of the gorilla puppet, and the scythe in his hand continued to pound on the huge gorilla puppet. Jiu's seven-legged centipede was the nemesis of any large puppet. The gorilla's body parts kept falling out. With Jiu's final wave, the centipede returned to its original form and returned to Jiu's hand. Looking at his puppet, Yi Fan walked up excitedly and said to Jiu, Ji Gongzi is really powerful. I'm impressed. Jiu glanced at his gorilla puppet. Naturally, she knew how important a puppet was to a puppet master. A clear blueprint of the puppet appeared in Jiu's mind. His profound energy thread landed on the puppet's body, and the various parts quickly gathered together. Seeing that his puppet had returned to its original form, Yi Fan became excited. Mister, may I know your name? I'll definitely report it to you in the future. I'm Jiu. After seeing Jiu's skill, no one doubted Jiu's ability. They entered the puppet guild. The president personally came out to welcome them. How could they let an alchemist who could refine fifth-grade pills leave so easily? Jiu saw that there was a dark aura on the president's face. Subconsciously, she asked, President, are you feeling unwell? Hearing this, the president cupped his hands and said, Mister, you're really an expert. I have an internal injury, and my profound energy has been deteriorating year by year. Jiu heard this and shrouded the president with her mental strength. She saw that the profound energy on the president's body started to change. She tapped on the president's body. Then, she took out a pill and said, This pill can help you temporarily resist this inexplicable, profound energy. However, I still need to think about how to treat it. It's already very good that you can delay my pain. Thank you, mister. The president of the Puppet Guild, who was over 60 years old, did not dare to call himself an old man in front of Jiu. Who knew what level this monstrous genius had reached? At this moment, a guard walked in and whispered a few words in the president's ear. Hearing what he said, the president's eyes widened. He stood up and asked in surprise, Is what you said true? Absolutely true, President. The president cupped his hands and said to Ji Gongzi, I heard that you're also a puppet master. Yes, but I haven't done any certification. It's fine. Coincidentally, today is the day of our selection. Ji Gongzi, why don't you give it a try? Jiu nodded. Originally, the president wanted to bring Jiu along, but Jiu refused. She wanted to take a good look at the surrounding scenery. Outside the puppet testing room, countless young men and women were waiting. Suddenly, a shout rang out, and the surrounding people took the initiative to move aside. The young miss of the Jin clan is here. A beautiful young girl walked into the hall under the escort of the crowd. This is the young miss of the Jin clan. Jin Yuan? What a beautiful girl. The one beside her should be Jin Fu. Jin Fu is so handsome. It's said that they are cousins, but Mr. Jin has already reached the stage of a third-grade puppet master. They're really a group of beautiful and talented girls. I'm so envious. Just as they were discussing spiritedly, Ji happened to buy a stick of candied haws for Xiao Gu in front of a small vendor. Xiao Gu ate happily and happened to block in front of them. Jin Yuan's two brothers took a step forward and slowly said to Ji Yu, "Kid, don't you see the people from the Jin clan? Why aren't you obediently moving aside?" Ji Yu rolled his eyes at them. Why? Seeing Ji Yu's arrogant appearance, the two brothers were furious. Just as they were about to attack and teach Ji Yu a lesson, Jin Yuan took a step forward and stopped them. "Forget it, brothers. We'll just walk to the side." Ji Yu said indifferently, "This young miss is right." Jin Fu took a step forward. "You're also here to participate in the puppet master selection, right? I'm Jin Fu. Can I ask this young master to give me some face and move aside?" He had an extraordinary bearing and thought that Ji would definitely try to curry favor with him when he saw him. "No, if the beauty beside you talks to me, I might consider it." At this moment, an elder walked out from inside the sect. "Everyone, quiet down." Jin Fu thought to himself, "When you see my talent later, you'll be scared to death." The test begins. You can enter in order. The youths walked in one by one. Zhang Si, first grade medium. Lier failed. Huang San, second grade beginner. Everyone whispered, "I didn't expect a second grade beginner puppet master to appear today. It seems that there hasn't been such a genius in over 100 years." Yifan saw Ji Yu and walked to Ji Yu's side. He cupped his hands and said to Ji Yu, "Ji Gongzi, why are you here? Isn't this a toad that wants to eat swan meat?" Sure enough, like person. Ha ha. Ji Yu heard the Jin family humiliating Yifan. He also had a good impression of this young man, so he asked, "What do they mean?" Yifan's face turned red. He said to Ji Yu, "I like their Jin family's Miss Jin Lan, but my family is poor." Ji Yu immediately understood. A remnant page appeared in his mind, and he placed his hand on Yifan's head. Suddenly, Yifan seemed to have understood something. Right at this moment, the elder walked out and shouted loudly, "Next, Yifan." Yifan cupped his hands. "Thank you, young master." "No, I should say thank you, master." Ji Yu said calmly, "Why don't we call each other brothers?" After hearing this, Yifan walked into the room. When Ji Yu tapped his head, just now, the image of an evolved puppet appeared in his mind. After the elder announced the start of the competition, Li Yundong's expression changed. He couldn't wait to summon the gorilla and built the huge gorilla according to the method on the blueprint. Looking at the pressure from the gorilla, the invigilator stroked his beard. Yifan, second grade peak puppet master. What? This guy cheated, right? The Jin family members were shocked. Jin Yuan said calmly, "Cousin, you have to work hard. Don't let others beat you." Jin Fu smiled and patted her head. "Cousin, don't worry." He strode into the room. Jin Fu, third grade intermediate puppet master. After he left, the elder said slowly, "I didn't expect so many geniuses to appear this year. It's really scary." Then he shouted again, "Next, Ji Yu." Ji Yu walked into the room. The Jin family members began to discuss. "This guy doesn't know what's good for him. I want to see what he's capable of." Jin Yuan also said, "Cousin, don't say that. Maybe he just wants to attract your attention in front of you." "Ha, cousin, you're right." The rest of the Jin family members also said, "Sister, you're right." When the results are out, I want to see how they're going to explain it. While they were talking, the people in the room were already shocked. A puppet that was exactly the same as Ji Yu was summoned. Even their abilities were exactly the same. This was simply too inconceivable. Among so many puppets, humanoid puppets were the most difficult to create, yet it was possible to create one. Except for peak rank 4 puppeteers. But they had never seen a puppet master that was exactly the same as them. Ji Yu said calmly, "Examiner, please watch." Suddenly, the puppet beside her released a magic skill. What? A puppet that can use magic skills? Chapter 559. Too inconceivable. Truly too inconceivable. A puppet that can use a mystical skill. A puppet that can use a mystical skill. This is The elder sucked in a breath of cold air. He had never seen such a terrifying skill in his entire life. This is simply inconceivable. I'm afraid our president is also comprehending this skill. He didn't dare to stay any longer and left the room in a hurry. Seeing the examiner leave, everyone guessed what happened. Could it be that this brat couldn't control his puppet and was devoured by it? I think that should be the case. Haha, I already said that he overestimated himself. That's right. He dares to go against the Gene family like this. Simply reckless. After saying this, they sucked in a breath of cold air. What? Hearing the elder's words, he stood up and rushed to Ji-Yu's direction. When he saw Ji-Yu's puppet that looked exactly like Ji-Yu, he sucked in a breath of cold air. Brother Ji, how did you learn the method to forge this puppet of yours? He looked at it in surprise and touched the puppet in front of him. Ji-Yu opened her mouth and said, That's right. This one obtained the Puppet Heavenly Book. What? The Puppet Heavenly Book? That's the heavenly book forged by the legendary ancestor. They sucked in a breath of cold air. The president opened his mouth and said, According to the rules, you obtained the Puppet Heavenly Book, so naturally you have the president's throne. This one greets the president. Ji-Yu pulled him up and said, President, this one can't stay in the puppet empire all the time, so naturally I can't take on this heavy responsibility. I asked the president not to do this. The president thought for a moment and said, How about this? From today onwards, this one will be the vice president of the Puppet Union, and Brother G will be the nominal president of the Puppet Empire. Unless something major happens in the Union, this one will definitely not disturb the president. G thought for a moment. In any case, she didn't suffer a loss, so she agreed. But I asked the president not to announce it. Fine. President, this is the president's token. Please take good care of it, President G. Ji took out the first half of the Puppet Heavenly Book and handed it to him. This is the first half of the Puppet Heavenly Scripture. The second half is truly too difficult to cultivate. If I were to give it to you now, you might not be able to comprehend it and might instead suffer from cultivation deviation. After you have finished comprehending it, I will give you the second half. Hearing Ji-Yu's words, they immediately waved their hands. How are we qualified to comprehend such a sacred object? Ji-Yu patted him on the shoulder. If I say you have it, then you have it. The president put away the heavenly book with satisfaction and handed the wooden box to Ji-Yu. Ji-Yu, peak rank, 5 puppeteer. The voice of the elder came from the room. Everyone wondered if there was something wrong with their ears. The president of the Golem Guild was only a grade 5 Golem Master. Why was it that when it came to Ji-Yu, it was a peak rank 5 Puppet Master? Even if she cheated, she wouldn't be able to do it. This must be fake. Everyone was talking at once. At this time, the president walked out. Ji-Yu's results were personally verified by this old man. Who dares to not accept it? Jin Fu walked out. As a genius at the peak of the entire Golem Empire, he naturally didn't accept it. This one refuses to accept it. Cousin, you must not compete with Ji-Yu. Hearing Jin Yuan's words, the originally hesitant Jin Fu immediately said, This one wants to compete with Ji-Yu. A grade 3 Golem Master challenging a peak rank 5 Puppet Master? Wasn't he just asking for trouble? Ji wasn't interested in fighting with Jin Fu. I'm not interested. After saying that, he turned around and left, returning to his room. The remnant soul took away all the mystic energy in the pieces of paper. His outline could be clearly seen, but why did it look a little strange? Ji threw away the thoughts in his mind. He realized that the pieces of paper he collected seemed to be related to each other, and they were pieced together on the table. It was a map. The remnant soul had already entered the dream realm. No matter how Ji called out, there was no response. Ji could only think about it himself. What exactly was so strange about this? For large words appeared on the back of the map. The frozen land. It seemed that this was the clue to the frozen land shrine. He put away the map. Xiao Gu said that she was hungry again. For some reason, Xiao Gu's appetite had increased greatly recently. When Ji thought of this, he brought her to the streets to look for food. Suddenly, a strange fragrance wafted over. Xiao Gu ran in the direction of the fragrance. Ji Yu hurriedly followed behind her. They walked several hundred meters out of the outskirts of the capital city. The members of the Jin family were gathered here. The meat of a peak rank, 4 demonic beast was being roasted. Cousin, I want to eat your legs. Okay. Cousin, wait for me. Just as Jin Fu was about to cut off the leg meat, a black shadow suddenly flashed and took the leg meat away. After eating the leg meat, he stood up. Who's there? He suddenly turned around and saw Xiao Gu's figure. Aren't you that girl who's always following behind Ji Yu? At this time, the 2 brothers of the Jin family said, This girl looks pretty good. Why don't we bring her back? Then, big brother, when the time comes, will you go first or will I? The 2 of them looked at each other and laughed strangely. Xiao Gu didn't understand what this laughter meant. At this time, the eldest brother of the Jin family let out a scream. A cracking sound was heard. His lower leg was shattered by a kick. Ding! Host used body puppet. Puppet mastery gained 1 by 999 experience points. Ji Yu's figure appeared in front of the 2 of them. You got guts. When Jin Fu saw Ji Yu appear, he coldly humphed and said to Ji Yu, Brat, I don't like you today. You dare to appear in front of me now? You're courting death. After saying this, Jin Fu's hands changed. 7 or 8 puppet wolves appeared in the air. 5th stage puppet master, I want to see just how powerful you are. He waved his hand heavily, and the 8 wolves shot toward Ji Yu. Ji Yu pulled out his Warhound greatsword. With a light wave, he killed 2 of the wolves. The remaining wolves also broke through and arrived in front of Ji Yu. They bit down heavily and tore off his clothes. Surprisingly, what flowed out was not blood. Everyone present widened their eyes. Jin Yuan's eyes turned, and he immediately arrived in front of Ji Yu. I beg of you, don't hurt my cousin. Ji Yu swallowed a mouthful of saliva when she felt Jin Yuan's surging aura. Men were not afraid of a woman's beauty, because a beauty with a frosty expression could only be seen from afar. However, this beauty who was so close to him was the most lethal. Ji Yu sucked in a cold breath. The humanoid puppet gave Jin Fu a heavy kick. However, although Jin Yuan was beautiful, it would be impossible for him to easily win Ji Yu's heart. Seeing Ji Yu so cold towards him, Jin Yuan immediately thought of a plan. After Ji Yu finished teaching Jin Fu a lesson, she left with Xiao Gu. In terms of appearance, Xiao Gu was much better than Jin Yuan. After returning to the room, Ji Yu patted Xiao Gu's head and said, Go to sleep. At this moment, Xiao Gu suddenly grabbed Ji Yu's hand. Ji Yu looked at her curiously. What's wrong? After hearing Ji Yu's words, Xiao Gu said, That night, I saw you touch that woman with your hand. As she spoke, Xiao Gu took Ji Yu's hand and placed it on her body. Ji Yu explored her body. Xiao Gu, you can't. Only then did Xiao Gu retract her hand regretfully. Ji Yu hugged Xiao Gu and said, Go to sleep. After she rested, the sound of a zither suddenly rang out. Ji Yu followed the sound of the zither and arrived at a room. When Jin Yuan saw Ji Yu enter, he put down the zither in his hand and walked in front of Ji Yu. He placed a plate in his hand on the table. I made some snacks to apologize to you. Ji Yu tasted it. It tasted pretty good. Young master, please forgive my cousin. Let's forget about what happened yesterday. She smiled slightly and said, I wonder if you have time to visit my Jin family tomorrow? Ji Yu agreed. Jin Yuan leaned over to Ji Yu's ear and said, I'll be waiting for you tomorrow. After she left, Yi Fan knocked on the door. Ji Yu opened the door. Brother, I didn't expect Miss Jin to like you. Ji Yu smiled slightly. He didn't mind the beauty throwing herself at him. I wonder if you can bring me along tomorrow. Ji Yu chuckled and said, Since we're brothers, it's okay. Yi Fan hugged Ji Yu excitedly and said, Brother, I'll do anything for you. The next day, the 2 of them went to the Jin family together. A servant came to Ji Yu nervously. Ji Gongzi, Miss Jin is waiting for you in the room. Mr. Yi, please come with me. Ji Yu followed the servant to the door. Cousin, your father said that he's going to marry you to me. Cousin, don't be like this. I've always treated you as an older brother. You little bitch, you're playing with me. I'm going to have you today. Suddenly, the door was kicked open by Ji-yu. Jin Fu was still pulling on Jin Yuan's clothes. Jin Fu hated Ji-yu very much in her heart. She directly charged at Ji-yu. Ji-yu punched down, and a huge amount of dark force crashed into Jin Fu's body. A mouthful of blood fell from Jin Fu's mouth. Yuan was no longer breathing. Jin Yuan threw herself into Ji-yu's arms. "I'm really scared, big brother Ji." Ji-yu naturally knew what this girl was thinking. However, in front of his absolute strength, this little trick was nothing. Ji-yu explored this girl's body. At first, this girl wanted to pretend, but soon she obediently lay on Ji-yu's body. Chapter 560. The patriarch of the Jin family flew into a rage when he heard that his precious son had been injured by Ji-yu. When he arrived outside the room, he heard the commotion inside and kicked the door open. Only then did Ji-yu pull her hand away from Jin Yuan. Son, he shouted excitedly. However, at this moment, Jin Yuan's father saw Ji-yu. He had received the news that a young man in black had made a name for himself in the puppet master selection today. He had defeated the 5th grade puppet master. At that moment, Ji-yu was dressed in black and had a very handsome appearance. Could it be him? Thinking of this, he became very excited. The patriarch of the Jin family asked, "What happened?" Jin Yuan pulled Elder Jin and said, "Father, my cousin wanted to molest me just now. Ji Gongzi killed him by mistake to save me." The patriarch of the Jin family flew into a rage when he heard this. "Molest you? Our families have a marriage agreement, and that person had already killed you. How dare you and your daughter humiliate me?" "Brother, don't be too sad. Your precious son provoked my daughter. That's why she's like this. I want both of you to die." After Elder Jin shouted this, his body flashed, and he floated into the air in the blink of an eye. He waved his fingers and came to Ji-yu in an instant. Ji-yu pulled Jin Yuan into her arms. The patriarch of the Jin family spat out a mouthful of blood. He suddenly stepped forward and punched the patriarch of the Jin family. "Boy, you're too arrogant. I'm a master of the metaphysical realm. You don't even use your magic skills. Aren't you courting death?" As soon as he finished speaking, a layer of golden qi gang suddenly covered his body. However, before he could finish being complacent, he heard a cracking sound. A fist had landed heavily on his qi aura. A loud rumbling sound rang out. With a loud cracking sound, the qi gang broke into pieces. The patriarch of the Jin family spat out another mouthful of blood. Elder Jin took this opportunity to step forward and seal the patriarch's acupuncture points. He held her up. "Elder brother, please stop hitting me." "You traitor," Ji-yu said indifferently. "You want to kill me. How can I let you live?" As soon as he finished speaking, Ji-yu waved her hand. Immediately, the opponent's body disappeared. Just now, Ji-yu had actually destroyed the opponent's body with one punch. What kind of profound skill was this? Seeing this scene, Elder Jin said, "What is the relationship between you and my precious daughter?" Ji-yu said faintly, "She's my woman now." Elder Jin immediately understood. He cupped his hands and said to Ji-yu, "Young master should be Ji-yu, right?" "Elder Jin, how did you find out?" When Elder Jin saw that Ji-yu didn't call him father-in-law and just called him Elder Jin, he understood his daughter's position in her heart. It was fine. It was enough for his daughter to have a strong person to rely on in this world. This old man naturally has his own connections. That's good. From today onwards, the Jin family will be yours. Ji-yu waved her hand. Another Ji-yu appeared in an instant and disappeared again. Seeing this, the other party was dumbstruck. When he saw this scene, he understood that Ji-yu's words had the effect of making the final decision. The president came back to inform Ji-yu that there was a major discovery. Ji-yu came to the Puppet Master Guild. The president put a map on the table, only to see a huge cave. "Ji Gongzi, we found a huge Xian energy fluctuation here. I'm afraid that some ancient treasure is about to appear. This time, it will definitely cause many forces to fight over it. No matter what the treasure is, as long as it can fall into the hands of the president, it will be a great joy." Ji nodded and said faintly, "Okay, I'll go take a look." After that, Ji led them to the Five Peaks Mountain, only to see that this place was surrounded by a thick layer of fog. Ji looked over and saw that there was a huge flock of birds flying in the air. In the blink of an eye, Ji flashed and left this place. After a moment, when she appeared, she said to the people behind her, "Let's go this way." In this huge mountain forest, everyone would get lost. Only Ji was able to lead them out of this small cave. Suddenly, they were ecstatic. It was really incredible. They walked to the outside of the cave. Suddenly, a group of people dressed in straw clothes came out. "Everyone, I advise you not to go forward on the road ahead," Ji said faintly. "What if I insist on going forward? Then don't blame us for being impolite." As they spoke, a wave of Xian energy floated out from their bodies. Suddenly, the surroundings became like wailing ghosts and howling wolves. It was as if countless vengeful spirits were narrating something. Ji immediately became vigilant. Looking at everything in front of her, she threw out a heavy punch. With this punch, all of the vengeful spirits in the surroundings disappeared. Those people in straw clothes widened their eyes. They had used this illusion array for so many years, but this was the first time that it didn't work. They took out their precious weapons. Then, they charged in Ji's direction. The president said, "If you want to be arrogant, come and try our Arhut array." After saying that, 12 demonic beasts of the zodiac suddenly appeared in front of them. The 12 elders of the Puppeteer Guild each controlled a puppet. They controlled them to fly in the direction of those people in straw clothes. Puppet masters? Interesting. A mouse flew in front of one of the people in straw clothes. They saw him take a deep breath. A ball of fire suddenly spat out from his mouth. The fire burned the mouse, and gradually, there was a burnt smell. Then the mouse fell to the ground. The 12 Zodiac members of the Puppet Masters Guild never thought that such an accident would happen to them. They all stood in front of Gu with their swords in hand. "President, don't worry. Even if we have to risk our lives, we will definitely protect you. Yes, we will definitely not let any harm come to you," they said with a serious face. Gu also felt warm in her heart. She said to them, "You all step back first. Let me do it." They looked at each other, but still listened to Gu and stepped back. After they stepped back, Gu threw out another punch. Suddenly, a strong Xian energy came and sent them flying. The people in straw clothes never expected that Gu, who looked so young, would have such strong Xian energy. "Not good, retreat," one of them shouted anxiously. Gu sneered. "You want to kill me, and now you want to escape? Do I look like a fool?" Then, she widened her eyes and threw out a heavy punch, suddenly sending them flying. In an instant, screams could be heard. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.